Hello and welcome into everybody tuning in on that YouTube live stream. It's so good to have you in here with us for yet another day of one liberal versus around 1 billion Trump supporters. So if you don't know what we do here, we just debate Trump supporters all day long until I rage quit. And we try to go over every reason that still exists that has led millions of Americans to still be supporting the current administration, which in my mind is the worst administration out of the lifetime of almost everybody watching the stream today. So we already have our very first Trump supporter loaded in and connected to the live stream. We're pulling our guests up through TikTok. Their name is Mr. Benz. They're 22. Benz, if you'd like to take it away and tell us how the hell you still support Donald Trump as president, it'd be very meaningful to me. The mic is yours.
Well, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm like super
Supporter
educated
load.
on, you know, everything or most topics, but I just think he earned his spot. Whether his with Kamala Harris coming in like last second, well, she was the vice president and then kind of took over the spot. She wasn't voted in. I feel like someone else besides her would have been voted in as the Democratic candidate last year. As my first time voting, I did vote for Trump, but I don't think she earned that spot. I feel like with a better Democratic candidate, it would have put you guys in a better position to have your candidate voted for and elected. You know what I mean?
Okay, so first and foremost, when you say that Donald Trump like earned the spot, you're like kind of setting us up to think that he did some honest hard work to be there. No, he just spent billions of dollars and has been lying to the American people for the last 10 years. Second of all, you said that Kamala Harris wasn't voted in. No, that's not true. Not only was she voted for by a majority of Americans in the 2020 election on the presidential and vice presidential ticket, however, for the Democratic frontrunner of the election this year, or I guess last year, the 2024 presidential election, she was nominated by over half the delegates at the DNC, which at the end of the day is all that matters for these major private political parties. Now, it kind of sounded like the theme that you were hinting at with that argument was that maybe Donald Trump was just better than she was. And if we had a better Democratic nominee, then you would have voted for them. We would have done better. But at the end of the day, Trump was better than Harris. Okay, so I want you to answer this question. I want you to give me an argument that America would be worse off right now if Kamala Harris was elected. Let's hear it.
Um, and I think this goes back to just like our foreign policy and how other countries would look at us. I know there are a lot of countries that have had women as their leaders, but I feel like, especially to like Russia or China, I feel like it would make us look weaker.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and just automatically correct you so fucking fast. We know that Putin feared Kamala Harris more than Trump. And the way that we know this is because Putin has interfered with the last 3 elections, pushing pro-Trump, pro-Kremlin, pro-Republican propaganda. So when you tell me that, oh, he would have liked it if Kamala Harris was running the country more because she would have been perceived as weaker because she's a woman. Well, if she would have been perceived as weaker and made it easier for Putin to get his way, why has Putin fought so damn hard to make sure Trump was elected?
I think he was scared of a woman being in the office. I don't think he was scared of her. I think he was scared of what she could do being in that position.
Oh, well, I mean, don't you want a leader of this country that scares dictators into submission?
No.
No, you don't want a leader of America that scares dictators? Why not?
I feel like if we take a more business approach, we'll all win. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, what's the business approach that Trump has taken? He just ran on
Um,
defunding Ukraine, pushing Kremlin propaganda. The business approach is that's what got the MAGA influencers like Tim Pool and Benny Johnson paid $500,000 a month by the Kremlin, just so we would weaken Ukraine and make Russian expansionism easier. Right? We just made the victim weaker and made it easier for them to try to take new land. Is that the business approach that you supported?
hey, my little Republican brain cannot handle these big words that you're saying, bro.
I mean, it was a very simple concept. What's the business approach of
Who the
Trump's that
hell
you
is
supported?
Kremlin?
Who the
Who's
hell is Kremlin?
Kremlin?
The Kremlin is the government of the Russian Federation.
Ah, Kremlin, cool. Yeah, I don't know what that is
Okay,
still.
well, if you don't know the Kremlin, then how could you possibly be educated enough on foreign policy and global affairs to indicate that Donald Trump is somehow in some way going to be better at dealing with Russia than Kamala Harris was?
Hey, all I gotta do is pick red pill or blue pill. I don't gotta look all that stuff up, buddy.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're not going to like possess any information here to be able to make that determination that Trump would be better within the respect of foreign policy than Harris, then why the fuck did you tell me that Trump would have been better within the respect of foreign policy than Harris?
Cause I think that's true.
Okay. Why? Why?
Um, that's just an opinion.
Okay. I know it's just an opinion,
It's
but
an
I'm asking you
uneducated
for the
opinion.
reason to support the opinion.
Um, we haven't started any new wars.
Well, that's actually not true. We did. We did start a war with Iran. Funny enough.
Was it a was it an official war or was it an act of like
What
a
do you,
police
what do
force?
you mean by official war? Because I mean,
Well, like
I took it when we struck them and then they struck us and we told them that we controlled their airspace and we knew where their leader was and we could kill him if we wanted to. I saw that as war. What about you?
I feel like that was just like a police act. It was just like a threat. It was
Okay,
like it's not
okay.
a
So
war to punch someone in the face. It's a war to like beat them on the ground and kick them in the lungs until they're dead.
okay, so if we bombed Russia and then Russia bombed us, and then we said we controlled Russian airspace, knew where Putin was, and could take him out if we wanted to, and that we want a regime change in the country, would that be war?
Yeah, that would be.
Okay, so then just replace Russia with Iran, and then all of a sudden, you have exactly what Donald Trump did about 2 months ago.
Yeah, but they didn't bomb us. They
Yeah, they
went to
did,
bomb one of our military bases and
which
we
is American
intercepted the
soil.
missiles.
It doesn't matter, intercepted or not, they still attempted to bomb us.
Okay, for example, if we're in a fist fight, right? You swing a punch, you land the punch on me, and then I throw a punch at you and you weave that punch. You didn't land any hits.
Okay, so I just want to be clear. If Russia sent 3 nukes, one at LA, one at DC, and one at New York City, and we intercepted them all, would we be at war with Russia?
But that's a little different. That's like the actual United States. I know what you're saying,
Yeah, yeah.
how
Guess what?
our
Military
base is US
bases,
land.
military bases overseas are actually a part of the United States.
Yes, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, it's a little different if you're trying to hit us on, like, I know you're saying it is our soil,
Oh,
but it's our soil on someone else's land.
are you just saying that the lives of our military service members are significantly less valuable than the lives of our citizens?
No, I'm just saying
That's not a very right-leaning take.
there's a significant difference in the amount of people that are on these bases compared to in LA or in New York.
Oh, okay. So if Russia just bombed a town in the middle of, buttfuck nowhere in Arkansas and only killed like 12 people, that wouldn't be war?
See, Arkansas is different, bro. They got the KKK. They could get some of them. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand how the KKK got brought into this. Why are you bringing
Because
the
you said
KKK into
Arkansas.
this?
That's Arkansas.
So you're saying that
That's
there's
where their
racist white
leader is
people
and
in
all that.
Arkansas?
No, I'm saying they could bomb Arkansas. I would have no problem with it.
Okay. Where do you live?
Not Arkansas.
I know. What state do you live in?
I live very close to water.
Okay. What state?
Hawaii.
Okay. If they bombed Hawaii and only killed 12 people, would that be an act of war?
No, that'd be a shitty ass bomb.
Okay. So there you got it first, folks. If Russia literally bombed us and only killed 12 people, that wouldn't be an act of war.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, what do you consider to be an act of war?
Like if they bombed like a bunch of people, I'd say like
How
anything
many
over
people?
100.
Okay. So if Russia killed and bombed 99 people on American soil, that wouldn't be an act of war?
No, I think we would retaliate, but I don't think it would be a full-on
But
war.
if they killed one more person, then it would be an act of war.
Hmm. It just depends on the scenario.
Wait, well, I mean, what are the variables here that must be met in order for an act of war to be official?
I mean, like if it was a if the Russian government did it themselves, or if it was just like a Russian person. Because
No,
I feel
if
like
it
if a
was the
couple
Russian
Russian guys,
government, it was approved by the Russian government. The missiles were sent by the Russian government.
hmm. And did we do anything to like ignite their pissed offness?
Yeah, we bombed them first.
Oh, we bombed them first,
And
and
then
then they killed 99 of us.
yeah, would that be war?
I feel like then we started it.
Oh, okay. So you're just saying that the U.S. would therefore start a war?
Yeah,
Okay, well, we bombed Iran first, then they tried to bomb us. You just conceded. The U.S.
yeah,
started
but
a war.
they didn't kill anybody.
Well, I don't think that casualties are even going to be necessary here, right? It's just the act of attempting to bomb.
I feel like, well, they knew they were gonna get intercepted. It's like how many bombs that are getting sent over to Israel. They know none of them are gonna land except a few.
Is that even relevant, though, regardless if they get intercepted or not? Like, we already went through this. If Russia sent nukes towards America and we intercepted them all and they killed nobody, zero casualties, you already conceded that would be war.
Yeah, but that's our soil. I know you're saying
Well,
like
okay, so I just want to clarify. It would so now you're saying that war would hinge on another country attempting to bomb American soil. If war hinges on another country attempting to bomb American soil, Iran attempted to bomb American soil when they sent missiles at our military bases in Qatar.
yeah, but that's happened before.
Okay, wars happened before. The amount of times that it's happened before doesn't change the fact that if it happens again, it's an act of war.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we're at a stalemate.
No, we're at a Dean W. Gastel. Just concede.
I don't know what the hell that even means.
It means that I'm winning and you're losing. Ha ha.
I feel like we're even.
Okay. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, guys. Going to put a mag with your age down below in the chat if you'd like to come up and join y'all. Let's go to get that very next Trump supporter loaded into the live. Once again, for everybody joining us today, it is so good to see you all. We're off to a great start, everybody. Just talking to the most dense Trump supporters ever. Nice screenshot. Heard that. How old are you?
20.
Ooh, what year were you born in?
2006.
Yeah, you can't be 20, born in 2006, when the year is 2025. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guest, everybody. We got Marshall loading back up in, and we get a handful of other guests in a row that are not following the rules and are, in fact, breaking them. I am going to go ahead and put the rules right back up on screen. Hello, Marshall. Are you following the rules? Are you an American adult that supports Trump?
Yes, I am.
All right. How old are you?
Tina, I go back to college in 2 weeks. It's gonna be our final last debate ever. I go to
Banned! Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, guys. Go to put a mag with your age down below in that chat. We got John loading up in, everybody. We got John loading back up in. By the way, if you're curious, I've talked to that guy about a billion times. Welcome in, John. Do you support Trump?
Play Farm Sim, Dean.
John, get out of here.
Please.
Get out of here, John. Play Farm Sim. Let's go and move on to the next guest. Banned. We got Aiden loading up into the stream. Everybody give us a minute. Here we go, y'all. All right. Here we go, guys. Welcome in, Aiden. Do you support Trump?
What's up, brother?
You MAGA? Yeah, we got to
Just
put the
wanted to join.
we got to you just wanted to join. Well, banned. We got to go to put the rules back up on the screen, guys. If you join the live and you are breaking the rules, you're going to get banned, okay? All right. Okay, everybody. I just wanted to put that one out there. Make sure it was heard, you know? All right? For the 10.5 thousand people joining us on TikTok, it's so good to see each and every single one of you once again today. Well, our goal today is to talk to even more Trump supporters, as we do every day. You just gotta be following the rules. If you're on TikTok, you see them right in front of your eyes. Okay, a lot of noise here. Hi, do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
I'm 18. I was born in 2006,
What month?
August
Okay, what day?
22nd.
All right, you would indeed be 18. All right, let's go to take the rules down. Take it away. Why do you support the Orange Menace as president? Dude, he's so bad. Tell us why.
It's not necessarily that I support the Orange Menace. It's that I don't support the people who ran against him, rather.
So you thought that there was like some red lines that Harris crossed that just made it so you can never support her. What were those red lines?
I just don't think that we would be in better shape with Harris in office.
Give me an argument for that. Give me an argument to demonstrate that if Harris had won, America would be worse off right now. Let's hear it.
All right, so let's take, for example, what's happened so far since January, since Trump's been inaugurated. The wars, with the ones that were currently going on and the ones that already started. I think that Kamala Harris would have done absolutely nothing to prevent these. Okay, let me ask you, what do you
Trump
think she would have
disagrees with
done?
you. Yeah, Trump disagrees with you as it relates to Russia and Ukraine. What was the Democratic agenda in the election as it related to policy geared towards Ukraine?
No comment.
It was to continue to give them funding for military weapons and humanitarian aid, okay? And then what was Donald Trump's policy approach? to take that funding away. Okay, well, when Donald Trump was inaugurated, he did that. He took that funding away from Ukraine. That's what he promised the American people. But then around 175 days went by, and everything was worse. More innocent people were dying in Ukraine because the country is weaker, because they weren't getting our money. And Russia was emboldened. Russian expansionism was at a high. They were killing more people. They were taking more land. They were expanding their own country, not only serving a threat to the Ukrainian individuals, but serving a threat to NATO, us, and all the other countries on their borders, like Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. So then the Trump administration and the DOD resumed that funding to Ukraine. Okay? And the moment they resumed that funding to Ukraine, they conceded to the Democrats, they conceded to Kamala Harris that they were right all along. So when you come up here and you tell me that you think that Trump was better for this conflict, better for this war, well, even the Trump administration has now disagreed with you, conceding that their original approach was bad, and now opting to hop on the bandwagon of what the Democrats have been advocating for the last 3 years.
So you think that funding the war is better than giving them cold turkey?
Yes, and now everybody in Congress and in the executive branch of government agrees with me. This has been what the Democrats have been saying all along for a multitude of reasons, and now Trump has conceded, Pete Hegseth has conceded, the DOD has conceded, the Republicans in Congress have conceded. They have resumed the funding.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that let's look at it as two different alternatives. A, continue funding the war, or B, try to reach peace throughout the both countries without
That doesn't
spending
work.
the
That
US
doesn't work.
dollars.
Yeah, Trump tried that, pal. I don't know. Ukraine only offered 9 ceasefire agreements to Russia, and they rejected every single one of them. Yeah, that plan was already tried by the Trump administration. Now, see, people that are a little bit more educated, we knew that this wouldn't work because we knew that Russia necessarily wanted Ukrainian land. They weren't going to concede that. Okay, and that's why they've rejected every ceasefire agreement supported so far. I mean, even Trump was recorded a month and a half ago talking about how Putin just simply will not accept a single ceasefire agreement from Ukraine, and how this isn't the Putin that he used to know. This isn't how Putin used to be, but now Putin has just gone off the rails and he's being so unreasonable. We knew this all along.
All right. I respect you taking the time to answer my questions. Let me just ask you one final question.
I will obviously answer your questions here. That's one of the reasons why I do these live streams. But at the same time, it's a debate. I want you to respond to everything that I said there about how the Democrats were right all along. Kamala Harris would have been better for the conflict because she supported what the Democrats supported, and now even Donald Trump has conceded to this notion.
But do you think that they would have, Putin, for example, or Netanyahu, or any of these world leaders who are involved in this war directly, right? Do you think that they would have pursued even more action if it weren't for Trump being in office? If Kamala were in office, do you think that they would have pushed even harder in these wars?
We have literally had our largest attacks launched on Ukraine from Russia since Donald Trump was reinaugurated. You don't have an argument. The biggest bombs, right? The largest mass casualties, the largest offensive attacks have been launched since by Russia into Ukraine since Donald Trump was inaugurated for a second term. He left. Okay. I mean, I understand why he left there. When we're talking about Russia and Ukraine specifically, there is just a total Democratic W. The Republicans have conceded because the Democrats were right all along. In that specific conflict, the Democrats were right all along, and the Trump administration has made that concession. There's not one way that
Cookie
Donald
King
Trump's
Mogsy.
approach
Cookie
hasn't
King
worked.
Mogsy, nigga.
Okay, goodbye, AJ. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone give us a minute to get that next guest loaded in. Everyone do just be patient here, y'all. We got Weston loaded into the live stream for the 10.8 thousand people over on TikTok, y'all. Make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen. As well as Taylor, I appreciate you for the $2 over on Venmo. Thank you so much. And Donna with the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you for the second donation of the day, Donna. Donna says, what you're doing to educate people, you're more patient than I am. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the $10, Donna. You're awesome. Welcome in, Weston. Are you MAGA?
Yes, I'm MAGA.
Age?
I'm 22.
I thought that you were going to college in a week. Get the fuck out of here. Moving on to the next guest. Put a MAGA in the chat with your age down below. We're going to go to get that next guest loaded in right now, y'all. Just looking for some Trump supporters to come up here and have a debate with me. Alexa, thank you for the galaxy. I appreciate that. That is incredibly kind of you, y'all. All right. Who's that next guest going to be? We got EJ loading up in. You know what? To hell with it. We'll also load Dylan up in. Here we go, everybody. We got that next guest loaded in right now, everybody. What's going on, EJ? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Age?
Hello.
How old are you, EJ?
I'm 18.
Very nice. Everybody's 18 today. Everybody's young today. What year are you born in?
September 29, 2006.
Okay. Yeah, you would be 18. What about you, Colt? Are you MAGA? Colt's not even here, EJ. It's just you. I don't know why everybody's 18 today. It's crazy. I don't know. I want to talk to some older Trump supporters, all right? But EJ, I'm gonna go and pass you the mic. How can you support like Trump as president when he has, destroyed our economy by imposing tariffs, causing inflation, by defunding Medicaid, food stamps, the intellectuals, the arts, the DOE, and now we're expecting the average American to pay more for energy and receive less in benefits, meaning that they have lower purchasing power? How can you support him when he's been held civilly liable for great, boasted about perving on kids, and is concealed and lied about the fact that he knew he was in the Epstein file since May? How can you support him in lieu of all these facts?
Okay, so first of all, I think that the tariffs that he's implemented are first more of a bargaining tactic, considering he has been a businessman in the past and a very successful one. I just believe that like he's using them to get not power, but he's using them to like kind of get what's best for us in a way. Do you know what I mean there?
Okay, yeah. What did he get from Canada when he imposed tariffs on them, then revoked them, then reimposed
Well,
them, then
Canada,
revoked them again, and then reimposed
right?
them? What did he get
So,
from Canada?
well, well, first of all, he got more border protection at Canada because some of the most amounts of fentanyl comes over the border from Canada. So,
Well, I got to kick you because you can't say the names of DRUGS on TikTok Live and you just caught a stray. But you're wrong. I know what you're referencing. And yeah, that's not true. The extra border protection that apparently Trump got with his tariffs this year was put into law by the Canadian Parliament in November of last year. So let's go to move on to the next guest, everybody. Keep that in mind. It's a really weird, unknown rule about TikTok, but you cannot say the names of any DRUGS. In fact, you can't even say DRUG. It's kind of crazy. It's not that good of a rule. Welcome in Dylan. Oh, Dylan is gone. All right, we're going to go to put the rules back up in the middle of the phone screen. Go ahead and let me know. Shit, there goes my phone. Go ahead and let me know down below in that chat if you're an American adult that supports Trump that wants to come up here and debate. And take a good look at those rules. Everybody, take a good look at those rules because we're only looking to talk to people that are following those rules. Isn't that a crazy thought? We're going to go to get that next guest, Sally, up here. Also, if you happen to be one of the many people watching the live stream right now, either on TikTok or on YouTube, and you're like, hey, I like this Dean guy, I like what he does, I want to support him, his independent journalism, his debates, etc. On TikTok, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the
Hi, I'm really sorry. Someone in your comments said get raped to someone saying MAGA 29, and I wanted to bring that to your attention.
How old are you?
Not old enough, I'm sorry.
Okay, Sally, I got to kick you. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. The mods probably already banned them. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. We got Bonnie loading up into the box, y'all. Make sure that you're following the rules if you happen to be in that queue, y'all. Make sure that you're following the rules if you happen to be in that queue, guys. Welcome in, Bonnie. Do you support Trump?
Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize I joined.
Bam!
Sorry, wait.
Moving on to the next guest, Frosty. Once again, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio and TikTok. Get 100% of the proceeds over there, as well as you could also find them in the pinned message on the YT stream. Hello and welcome in. Do you support Trump, Frosty?
Yes.
How old are you? 18.
19.
19? Wow. Okay.
19.
All right. It looks like our guests are getting older. Everybody, we're not at 18 anymore. Now we're at 19. What year were you born in?
2006.
Okay.
January 7th.
And what time is it?
It is 1:04.
Oh, really? What state are you in?
Montana.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, not a whole lot of people in MST. Okay. Why do you support Trump?
I support him Mainly because I think he would do a better job at running the country, like most of the
What is
people
one thing that he's
previously.
done so far in his term that you're a big fan of? Let's hear it. One thing, just like what is actually, let me like further rephrase the question. What is one thing that Trump has done to help the average American in the last 200 days?
The
Just-
last 200 days.
That's how long he's been president. One thing he's done in
Really?
200 days to help
Already?
the average American.
Well, assuming the average American is over the poverty line, I'd say some of the big beautiful bill, which help increase some of the paychecks and stuff for people richer.
Okay. Well, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the big beautiful bill actually hurts the average American by defunding Medicaid, by defunding food stamps, by defunding energy production, by defunding the Department of Education, and a plethora of other things. Okay, the Center on Budget and Policy Priority tells us that the average American making at or beneath $51,000 per year is going to have less purchasing power annually because of the BBB. Plus, it's spending $4 trillion. Which will be inflationary, and cutting taxes for the ultra wealthy, which will also be inflationary. So no, the big beautiful bill is not helping the average American at the end of the day. So let's try again. What is one thing he's done in the last 200 days to help the average American?
He in agreement with the EU, it helped get the American exports up.
American exports up. Okay. So now what was the agreement that he met with the EU?
That I'm not too sure about.
Okay. Well, then how can you be sure that it increased exports?
I'm gonna be honest, secondhand knowledge.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like you have too reliable of a source here.
From what I'm hoping.
What's the source?
Family member.
Okay. What's the family member's reason? What is the family member's reason to find this to be true?
They do their research.
And what's the research?
What do you mean, what's the research?
What's the research to justify the point that Donald Trump was able to make a deal with the EU in which has dramatically increased American exports to the EU?
Yeah, I have no clue.
Okay. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you're just telling me that you have no clue how Donald Trump has helped the average American, because this all relates back to the question, how has Donald Trump helped the average American?
Honestly, I'm gonna keep it so real. I'm mainly a MAGA supporter because my family is, and I was hoping to, at least find something that might be useful, but I've got nothing.
Yeah. Well, man, that's why I do the streams. I appreciate you for being humble and admitting that fact. You should continue to watch the stream. Say if there's anything that I could say here in debates with other guys that could change your mind. I respect you for kind of admitting defeat there. I think that's very admirable, and I have a lot of respect for that. I understand that a lot of people only support Trump because it's socially popular, or it's what their family supports, and that's a really big reason why I do what I do, man. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let's go to move on to the next guest. We got Tommy W. 2013 loading up. I sure hope that they weren't born in 2013, as well as Hallie. Thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. That is
I'm sorry. I was just liking my bed.
Oh, they might actually be born in 2013. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go to get that next guest loaded into the box here. Hallie says, thank you for fighting battles most people are too scared to. Well, Hallie, I really appreciate you for that love. If we could get 100 Hallie W's down below in that comment section, that would be meaningful to me. But thank you so much, Hallie. That is HALLE. As well as Anonymous. Thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Anonymous. You are awesome. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here, guys. If you want to skip the line and come right up onto the stream, go and put a macro with your age down below. So far today, we've been talking to like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. I would love to get an older guest in here. So if you're watching and you're on like the older side, you're a little bit more grown up. I'd love to have you up here. So just let me know down below. I'll happily invite you. Hop on that queue. Let's try to get, some middle-aged MAGA up in the stream. Hello and welcome.
Dean for president.
Well, I appreciate you so much for your support, man. That is incredibly kind of you, but banned. Let's go to move on to the next guy. So we got Millie Ross loading up in. Here we go, everybody. We got Millie Ross loading up in. Quite frankly. Yo, Alyssa Giblet.
Hello.
You've tried to come up for the last couple days. Alyssa Giblet, take your account off private, and you'll be able to join the guest request, and I'll happily bring you
Hello.
up here. Millie, age, please.
I am 21.
Oh, you have a British accent. What time is it?
Right now it's like
Right. Banned! Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Follow the rules before we have to put them right back up on screen. Quite frankly, we got RJ loading up in. Here we go, everybody. All right. Hello, do you support Trump? No. Somebody in the chat just called me racist. So, fun fact, British or being British is not a race. Wow. Okay, let's go to move on to the next guest. We got Bernard Doherty loaded up into the box. Here we go, everybody. All right, Bernard Doherty. Let's go to get them up here. Hello, Bernard Doherty.
I didn't just have to say hello. Thanks for your insight.
I appreciate that, man. That's incredibly kind of you. Thank you for the kind words, bro. I did have to take you out because we are just looking for Trump supporters, but that is very, very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. Next guest is loaded up in here right now. Welcome in, Leon. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
All right. How old are you?
20.
All right, Mr. 20-year-old. You're the same age as I am. Can you believe that? I'd love to ask you a question. Are you an American patriot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do American patriots support the U.S. Constitution?
I'd say so.
Okay, if we had an undocumented immigrant come into America, form a cult, say that they want to, destroy the Constitution and explicitly call for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, and then they were able to gain so much power that they started running the country as president, and they started signing baseless illegal EOs into law that explicitly contradict the Constitution. Do you think that American patriots would ever support them?
To be honest, I lost you halfway.
I'll go to repeat the question. Imagine there's an undocumented immigrant, right, that has gained a cult-like following. And with this cult-like following, they talk about how they want to call for the termination of all rules, articles, and regulations, even those found in the Constitution. And they gain such a large following that they're able to become president. Okay, then with the power vested in the executive branch of the government, they start signing illegal executive orders into law that explicitly contradict some of the most important amendments of the Constitution. And they know it's illegal, but they're doing it anyways. Would you ever support this terrorist?
I'd say no.
Okay. Well, those are all things that Trump has done. So in December of 2022, he explicitly called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles.
Trump is undocumented. He's undocumented?
Yeah, so it didn't have to do with the whole launching an attack on the Constitution and trying to tear it down. It just had to do with being an undocumented immigrant. You didn't take issue with the latter half of everything that I said?
I think you threw a big hypothetical at me.
Well, no,
I just wanted to ask you,
basically in virtue, you're telling us that you wouldn't support a president that's called for the termination of the Constitution and has explicitly signed illegal, unconstitutional EOs into law that have circumvented the Constitution and the power in Congress. Those are things that Trump has done. As I already said, in December of 2022, Trump called for the termination of the Constitution, and on January 20th, he signed EO number 14160 into law that explicitly contradicted the clear text of the 14th Amendment as it related to birthright citizenship. Why would you, as a patriot that supports the Constitution, support such an embarrassing, dictator president that wants to take power and control away from the Constitution?
Yeah. So first, I watch your streams, and I actually like what you say and do. But I'm not knowledgeable in this. What I wanted to ask you, if I got on the stream, is about international relations, because to be honest, that's my main reason why I support Trump, why I like him. Like the abortion, I heard one stream you talked about it, but I don't support Trump, and you don't have to support a president everything he does. So in that area, I don't. But the reason why I feel like Trump is a good president and why I still support him is because his international relations and how he's gained respect with other countries, and I think that's important.
Well, sure, we could talk about that as soon as you address the fact that you said you never support a president that has launched an attack on the Constitution, but then as soon as I inform you that's something that Trump has done, you just simply don't care.
It's not that. It's just you threw like, it just, you started off with a question and then you said a hypothetical for 1 minute, so it's easy to lose track of what you say.
Oh, I mean, I'll just repeat it if you've lost track. You said that you're a patriot that supports the Constitution, and you wouldn't support a president that doesn't support the Constitution, right?
Yeah. Well, how you phrased it, I thought at the beginning you said that an undocumented person.
Yeah, that was a hypothetical because you guys really don't like undocumented immigrants. So I just replaced Trump
Well,
with an
so to
undocumented
be
immigrant
clear, I
to
didn't
make
say
it
anything
clear
about
how
that.
bad the things that he is
So
doing are.
to be clear, my parents are both they came undocumented, but now they're citizens. So it's not that I don't like them. There's nothing like that. It's just the way you phrase it. Trump is not undocumented, but you phrased in the beginning saying that hypothetically, if an undocumented
Right. That
person,
wasn't supposed to be the
so
relevant
the
part of the
hypothetical is
question.
right, but that's what threw me off. That's actually the biggest part of that because if an undocumented
Wait, you think that
person
being an
said,
undocumented immigrant is a greater threat to this country compared to like calling for the
that's not what I
termination of the
said. Both my
Constitution?
parents are undocumented. No, both my parents
Were
are.
you
That's not what I
born
said.
when were you born when they were undocumented?
I had the privilege. No, I'm a citizen. I had the privilege of being.
I know. When you were born,
born-
were they still undocumented?
No,
Okay. All right. So then answer the question.
sure, but well, I mean, I'm telling you, it's hard because it's very easy to lose track of what you said
Okay.
because
Okay.
you said
I'll
that
just clear
he's
it up.
undocumented.
I'll just clear it up.
No, but then now you use the
You said it. You said it's
hypothetical.
hard to understand. Let me just clear it up. Let me just let
Sure.
me just clear everything up so you could stop muddying the water with your silly questions. At the end of the day,
I'm not.
would you, the patriot that supports the Constitution, ever support a president that has launched an attack on the Constitution, calling for its termination and trying to take power away from it, invest it in themselves?
Okay, I understand what you're saying, and of course, everyone would say no. But I don't. I don't think that Trump has tried to destroy the Constitution.
Okay, so I'm going to
Has
prove
he?
that he has.
What example? Sure.
Yes, I'll give you two examples to start.
But
Keep in
this
mind,
is before you, I want to hear what you say. Like I said, I watch your streams and I like what you do. But I just want to tell you is I'm not really. I don't have facts. I don't research. I just the international relations is what I'm interested in and why I support Trump. Okay.
I don't know why you're
Yeah.
trying to pivot away from what I brought up. Every so
But I'm just
often,
telling you.
every
You go
so
ahead.
often, I will bring something up to my guests. Okay, and I feel like that's fair, right? You know, because like most of the time I sit here and I ask people why they support Trump, and I talk about their reasons. But every so often, I want to talk about something that I care about too, right? And I mean, you've already affirmed that you actually care about, right, a president being a threat to the Constitution as well. When you affirm that you never support a president, that's a grave threat to the Constitution. So now I just need to prove to you that it is the case that this is something that Trump has done, right?
Sure. Go ahead.
So we have many examples here. I could talk all day about this, but let's start with two, okay? The first example of him purporting a threat to the Constitution is when he called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, in a Truth Social post in December of 2022. The second big example of him purporting a threat to the Constitution is when he signed Executive Order number 14160 into law on January 20th of this year that stripped birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil. It's been long adjudicated that the 14th Amendment ensures them birthright citizenship, meaning this executive order was explicitly illegal, explicitly contradicts the Constitution and applicable case law, and is attempted to circumnavigate the checks and balances not just offered by the Constitution, but also those vested in Congress to ratify, amend, or change the Constitution, and to consolidate those powers to one man, that being him. That is a material threat to the Constitution, which in contrast to the words in which I shared, where he called for its termination in December of 22, definitely make a strong argument that Donald Trump is a threat to the Constitution.
Okay. Thank you. I'll respond to the second one about the what he did for the citizenship. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is my point. My point is what I was saying earlier is I don't have to like everything he does, and that's the same with every president. So you brought up the citizenship, the executive order he signed, and I talked with my mom about that and other people. And it's not something I agree with. I don't think it's right, and of course it's not because it was an executive order that they took back, right? Or is it still out there?
Federal judges have banned it. But I just want to make it clear
Right.
now you're changing your position Because
I'm not.
earlier
I said this from the beginning. I said I support Trump, but there are trade-offs.
You are changing your position. Because when I asked you if you would still support Trump if he was a threat to the Constitution, what did you say? Yes or no?
But the way you started that off, you gave a hypothetical.
We've already just discarded that hypothetical. Remember how I discarded that hypothetical? I made things easier, then I just re-asked you the question.
You made it easier, but at first you asked me a question.
Well,
and then you
that doesn't matter because we just cast that out, and I re-asked you the question clearly. Would you ever support a president that is a grave threat to the Constitution? And did you respond to that question with yes, or did you respond to that question with a no?
I'll still respond to no.
Okay.
But
so then the answer here, now that I've proven to you that he is a grave threat to the Constitution, shouldn't be this is just one thing that he's done that you no longer support, but you support him overall as a whole still yet. But the answer should rather be, well, because this proves that he's a grave threat to the Constitution, and overall you wouldn't support him if he was a grave threat to the Constitution, you don't support him overall anymore, and you're no longer MAGA.
No, I am. I still support him. I'm telling you, there's trade-offs. No, it's not because he's not.
It is a contradiction. Because when you answer,
I'll answer your question.
Because when you answer the question, would you still support Trump if he's a grave threat to the Constitution with a no? That means that it's not merely just a trade-off, right? It's a red line. Okay? So you've already affirmed explicitly that Donald Trump being a grave threat to the Constitution is a red line for you. But now that I've proved that he is a grave threat to the Constitution, you are now arguing that it's not a red line, but yet it's still something you condemn. So you are contradicting yourself. Which one is it? Would you still support Trump if he was a grave threat to the Constitution? Yes or no? Is it a red line or is it not a red line? Because you've already reaffirmed 4 times that it is a red line, but then for whatever reason, when I prove that red line exists, you just ignore the fact that you've affirmed that that would be a red line and act like it's a mere trade-off.
Okay. So I still say if a president I would still agree with the statement you asked me. But when I just think I still don't go back. I'm not contradicting myself. I just believe when you say, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. You talked a lot. I'm trying to
listen. The point's clear. You are still affirming that you wouldn't support Trump if he was a grave threat to the Constitution. But then when I prove to you that he is a grave threat to the Constitution,
give me 1 point. Give me 1 point again. Give me the 1 point for the grave threat. Why he is a grave threat to the Constitution.
Explicitly contradicting the 14th Amendment with an EO and explicitly calling for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution.
Now let me ask you. This is just in the past. The presidents. How many presidents have signed orders that have been redacted?
How many presidents have either passed policy or signed executive orders into law in which have been demonstrated to be unconstitutional?
Yes,
many. Even right. Trump in his first term with his bump stock ban.
Right. So Trump did it.
Now allow me to finish.
Go ahead.
But there's a big difference between even like what Trump did in his first term with the bump stock ban and what he's doing now with the CEO. Okay? Because when like a president passes a policy or signs an executive order into law that is like unknowingly unconstitutional due to some technicality or new interpretation of SCOTUS, right? Well, what we've seen in the past is they say, okay, well, it's dead in the water. This is the checks and balances of our government working. And now even Trump did this in his first term, the way that a president is supposed to do with the bump stock ban. He didn't know it was unconstitutional. SCOTUS ruled as such. Then he let it die and moved on. But now in the second term, the reason why this executive order about birthright citizenship is significantly more of a threat to the Constitution is because he obviously either knew that it was unconstitutional when he signed it into law because of the clear text of the 14th Amendment and clear case law since the 19th century, or he's just an absolute D-U-M-B ASSS. And after that executive order was passed, he's been trying to claw at courts to get them to uphold it. And then when we had federal judges rule that it was illegal, he turned around and influenced SCOTUS to just call those federal judges' courts and those federal judges' rulings regional and saying that they can't be implemented nationwide. So this illegal, unconstitutional EO can still be in effect in some places in the country. And Donald Trump has not rescinded, retracted, or terminated the executive order because it's unconstitutional.
Okay. You said the judicial branch, they redacted the executive order, though?
They've just ruled it as unconstitutional.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't. That's why we have our checks and balances in the system, right? For stuff like that.
But once again, I literally just described this difference. If you do not respond this time, I'm going to very quickly remove you. I already just gave you a very clear explanation. Why didn't you listen to me? Like, I don't know why guests do this. Why don't you listen to me when I speak? I just gave you a very clear explanation about the difference of a president unknowingly signing an EO into law that's unconstitutional, and how in this circumstance, Donald Trump either knowingly signed this into law that it's unconstitutional, or he has like the IQ of a third grader and just doesn't understand anything about the American Constitution. And then once the federal judges ruled it is illegal, he didn't retract it. He continued to argue that it should be in effect, and then got SCOTUS to make a technical ruling, not on the legality of the EO, but to say that courts that ruled it is illegal only have regional jurisdiction, not nationwide jurisdiction, so it's still in effect, and he's still advocating for it. See how there's a big difference there? One is an example of our checks and balances working as they're supposed to, and the other is an example of a ruthless fascist trying to claw and grip and gain as much power as he can, and he hates the courts when they stop him from doing so.
Yes, I understand. That's a good point. I don't disagree with you with this stuff you say, but can we talk? I've been on here for a while, and you got to move on. But what about international relations? Because I've been curious. I wanted to ask you about that. I've been watching your streams.
We can't move on yet, and the reason we can't move on yet is because you just conceded.
Can I say one more thing?
No, actually,
can I say one more thing?
Actually, I'd like to speak now. You just conceded.
Okay.
You just conceded that Trump is a grave threat to the Constitution. You don't disagree with me. Earlier, you said that you wouldn't support him if he was a grave threat to the Constitution.
Can I speak now?
Just respond to the fact that you've now affirmed he's a grave threat to the Constitution, and earlier you said that you wouldn't support him anymore if he was.
Okay. The issue with this and this is fair, is that I'm totally unprepared, as well as all the guests that you pick on here. No one has these facts. No one understands most of the things. Everyone just comes in with their biases and opinions. No one really has facts like you do. No one's prepared. So it's hard to argue with you or debate when you say all this stuff. But I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass. I have no idea what I'm saying. Okay. I wanted to pick your head about international relations, because that's the one thing I could be more opinionated than you need to know all the rules or laws or everything that's going on. Because the truth is, I don't know. I try to stay out of the news. I stay out of what's going on.
Okay.
As long as this economics are doing good.
Then I'd recommend you go do your research. I'm going to drop you. And the reason that I just decided to drop you right there, Leon, is because you made a very clear suggestion that if I could prove this point to you, you would no longer support Trump. And then I proved the point to you. You accepted that the point was proven to you, and then you continued to support him, right? I just want that. I want that hypocrisy to kind of simmer on the back burner in your brain, and I want you to try to figure that out. You know what I mean? Also, Joey, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Joey says, thank you for these streams, Dean. My wife and I are expecting our first baby girl. Hell yeah, Joey, that's awesome. Congratulations. At the end of the year, and people like you give me hope for a better future for her to grow up. And Joey, that is seriously just about the kindest thing that anybody can ever say to me. Much love to you and your wife, and good luck with being parents. I hope that everything goes well. Hope that everybody's safe, and hope that things work out. Welcome in, Devin. You're MAGA, right?
Yes, sir.
You told me to stop crying in the comment section earlier.
Yeah, because that dude was that last guest was the most reasonable guy. And the points you were trying to make against him were just so outrageous, honestly. It is not unfair to say that some parts of a president's policy versus other parts hold more weight. And obviously the dude was trying to get across that the international trade and affairs was a bigger point than maybe the 14th Amendment, or in your words, grave destruction of the Constitution.
That's not true from his perspective. He affirmed that if Donald Trump was a grave threat to the Constitution, he no longer support him, meaning it would hold sufficient weight to be a red line he'd hold against Trump. He conceded that I have demonstrated that said red line is true, that he is a grave threat to the Constitution. and did not concede his support for Trump. So I agree that in different minds to different people, different things that the president does can hold varying levels of weight, especially when we do a comparative analysis on like the candidate or person that you'd support compared to those that would run against them. And like some things you will be able to concede on, you'll be able to say that you don't support this, but you do still support the president overall for like other reasons of X, Y, and Z. But like, so like with that last guest specifically, I mean, he said that he holds this red line of Trump being a grave threat to the Constitution. I demonstrate that that red line is fulfilled. What is the obvious conclusion that we should see?
Yeah, right. But your definition of grave threat, you are talking like meteors are coming down, end of the world, country's going to burn, White House is going to explode.
So you're just saying that I hold a different definition than he did on what a grave threat to the Constitution is.
You
actually
sourced
didn't
a Truth
satisfy-
Social post,
One second.
and
So
you explained that he went.
Devin, 1 second.
Yep.
You're telling me that I hold a different idea of what a grave threat to the Constitution is than the last guest did. So therefore, I didn't satisfy that red line in his view. Is that what you're arguing?
Essentially.
Okay. But my counter argument would be that he said he agreed with everything that I said. So that's actually not true. I did satisfy that red line because he conceded. He agreed that this was a grave threat to the Constitution when he conceded the argument, and he said, "Dean, I think I agree with you here." And
You're a smart guy,
saying,
Dean.
Dean, I think that I agree with you here.
Maybe he did.
He
but
holds that red
again,
line. That red line has been satisfied from his perspective, meaning that the obvious next step would be him to redact his support from Trump.
An obvious next step. Okay, yeah, you're a smart guy, Dean, and you do this quite often, so you've got the style down. You know how to spin words. I don't necessarily think he would have agreed with that.
It's not up to debate. It's not like we don't know if he did or didn't agree because we're not mind readers. He made it explicitly clear. He said he agreed. It's not up to debate.
Okay, and in terms of that, you sourced a Truth Social post.
Yeah, it's one of my points of evidence. Yeah.
One of your points, and then the second point was an executive order.
Why are you demeaning the value of a statement from the current sitting president calling for the termination of the Constitution? You're just Truth Social. Okay, well it's him on Truth Social, bro.
Okay,
I don't care if this is on
show us
like
the post. What's the entire thing?
I don't care if this is on some fucking 4chan board. Okay, if Donald Trump is making a post on some 4chan board or some subreddit about how he wants to terminate the Constitution, it's going to be just as valuable as if he said it at an official White House press briefing because the words are coming from his mind. And his
I would love
is
to see the entire Truth Social. I would love to see the actual post he made on that. And then I think almost more importantly too, you would almost agree with the executive order. Presidents sign these things all the time, right? And did this executive order go to SCOTUS yet?
Yeah, so it did. SCOTUS didn't rule if it was constitutional or unconstitutional. They just ruled that the lower courts that have all unanimously deemed it as unconstitutional don't have the authority to make a nationwide ban.
So the Supreme Court of the land didn't shut it down.
Well, I mean, no, the idea that...
Right? Is that what happened?
No.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
SCOTUS did shut it down in 1982 with the Plyer v. Court case when they ruled that undocumented immigrants are subject to the jurisdiction thereof. In 1898 when they clearly defined the parameters of what the subject to the jurisdiction thereof mean in the first section of the 14th Amendment and how undocumented immigrants and immigrants as a whole would qualify for the said protections.
Right. Okay, so we
SCOTUS,
could probably...
SCOTUS has already shut the ruling down with precedent in case law.
In 1892?
1892 and 1982, yeah.
Okay, so if the executive order is illegal, unconstitutional, wouldn't you agree? Okay, so wouldn't you agree it's probably going to go back to SCOTUS at some point?
Well, I mean, if they make a ruling, then they're shutting down his EO. It makes you wonder why they haven't made a ruling. Is it maybe because he nominated 3 of them? I don't know.
It could be, but unfortunately, that's the way our Supreme Court justice works.
Okay. How does this inform us about anything to do with the constitutionality of the EO? When 1, it explicitly contradicts the clear text. 2, we have SCOTUS case law set precedent over the last 200 years to demonstrate it's unconstitutional. And 3, lower federal courts have all unanimously ruled that it's unconstitutional. Like, you understand that you don't need SCOTUS to rule on something to set precedent case law. Like, for instance, when Donald Trump was convicted of his 34 felonies, that was a ruling from a state court, not from SCOTUS. But did that mean that the president was set, that Donald Trump had broke the law 34 times? Sure, it just meant that that ruling could be appealed to a higher court. And if it was appealed to a higher court, and then that higher court overturned the conviction, then we'd have a new president set. But like the fact of the matter is, we already have case law from SCOTUS in the cases that I've already demonstrated to you to demonstrate that it was unconstitutional, as well as unanimous rulings from federal courts across the country that are now uncontested by SCOTUS that says it's unconstitutional, yielding us the conclusion it's fucking unconstitutional.
Okay, well, without everyone, all the viewers and myself actually reading those two cases you mentioned, I think the average Joe is probably going to go off what has SCOTUS said presently and now, and I understand that law comes back to the consensus and the start of the United States of America, but most people don't. They're not going to dig into that, Dean. They're not sitting here doing this all day. They're going to go off of what is happening now.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean,
as of
all that you need to know,
the Supreme Court has not shut it down.
Oh, wait, I have a question. Is racial segregation in schools illegal? If Donald Trump passed an executive order saying that racial segregation in schools is now allowed again, would that be unconstitutional, Devin?
I think that's a terrible thing.
I'm asking you if it would be unconstitutional, Devin.
I don't know the Constitution like the back of my hand, Dean, so I can't tell you.
Okay.
But it would be a god-awful thing.
Let me give you a little bit more context. In the 20th century, SCOTUS ruled on a case called Brown v. Board, where they said that racial segregation in schools was unconstitutional. So if Donald Trump passed an executive order to allow racial segregation in schools, would that be unconstitutional today?
So that's a crazy hypothetical.
No, it's actually a really simple question.
No, so yeah, I'm going to answer it, right? But that's a crazy hypothetical to put out there.
It's not crazy at all.
It's secondly.
Why is it crazy?
Yeah.
Why is it crazy?
Why? Because to even bring up a race conversation like that is just. I think it's way left field.
What? This is not a conversation about race. This is a conversation about law. The question isn't, do you support racial segregation? The question is, if Donald Trump signed an executive order into law allowing racial segregation, would that be
as a
illegal?
hypothetical? If it went back to the Supreme Court and they shut it down, yes.
Wait, you're saying that it had to go back to SCOTUS first in order to be unconstitutional?
Okay. God, Dean, again, that's a crazy hypothetical, but
why is it crazy?
If it went back to the Supreme Court and then went through the legal process and was shut down, yes, it is unconstitutional. But if for some, I'm going to give you another hypothetical.
No.
Let me give you a hypothetical.
No, because I need to clarify in your answer before we move on. Are you saying that executive order would have to first go to SCOTUS in order for it to be unconstitutional?
So if it went to SCOTUS and it got approved,
you're not
is it constitutional?
Answering my question.
No, I just flipped it on you. I literally just took your question and I flipped it. That's all I did.
If it got approved by SCOTUS, it would therefore be constitutional. However, this would mean that our Constitution would have to change because the Equal Protections Clause offered under the 14th Amendment, using it and using said Equal Protections Clause of the 14th Amendment as a basis for the Brown v. Board SCOTUS decision. I don't think that hypothetical was conceptually relevant, literally whatsoever, to any dialogue that we've ever had. I think that you need to learn how hypotheticals work in relation to debate. Now, I'm going to go back to the question that I asked and the answer that you gave. You told me that if Donald Trump passed an executive order saying that racial segregation in schools was legal, it would have to first go to SCOTUS in order for you to call it unconstitutional. So this just shows a dramatic misunderstanding of like the checks and balances in our system, how SCOTUS works, how the criminal justice system works. Okay, the fact of the matter is we have law on the book to ban racial segregation in schools. So if anybody tries to either reallow racial segregation in schools or just racially segregate schools, it's illegal. Like, think about it this way. If you go out and you murder somebody in cold blood, the moment you murdered somebody in cold blood, you did something that's illegal. Okay? Now, this will obviously be later confirmed by the court.
Innocent until proven guilty.
But it doesn't become illegal when the court makes their ruling. It was illegal the moment you participated in the crime.
Right. Because of certain written laws. And if that same written law was interpreted a different way or another way, the only way to challenge that is to go through the Supreme Court. And,
Oh, so now you're just saying that he has a different interpretation with no prior written law or SCOTUS rulings to suggest that interpretation is definitely false. So this just once again shows your ignorance. That's not true. His SCOTUS ruling banning birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants is just explicitly contradicts the clear text of the 14th Amendment and the clear understanding of the 14th Amendment in American case law. You're acting like it's something trivial with nuanced interpretation here that we'd have to have legal scholars to help us understand. That's not true. You just have to read the 14th Amendment, and you have to have very basic understanding of prior case law.
Okay, so I'm not a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer either. I just read the 14th Amendment.
Right, just the 14th. So I'm not a lawyer. I'm not 100% familiar with how our Supreme Court system, federal court system, how that works. I know written laws. I know you follow back to the conception of law. But to say that there can't be a different understanding or reading of any of the laws that have been made it's just crazy. Everyone's got a different opinion.
I don't know why you're pulling this shit. Now you're telling me that I'm suggesting that there can't be different interpretation of any.
Essentially, yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there can't be a different interpretation of this law, of this amendment, of
just that law. Just that law.
Right. I don't know why you're now misinterpreting me again. I'm not saying just this law. I'm saying definitely this law. I'm sure there's many other laws in which have a clear interpretation that we could definitely understand. I'm just saying that this is definitely one of them. Like, you just misinterpreted me twice. You started by misinterpreting me by saying that all laws have one clear interpretation, and any digressment from said interpretation is wrong, always, evidently, and obviously. No, I'm just saying that this law definitely is one of those that has one clear interpretation. And then you even took that into saying that it's just this law. There's no other laws that have one evidently clear interpretation. Why do you continue to misinterpret everything that I say? It's annoying, Devin.
All right. Sorry. It's simply taking banter back and forth and putting my 2 cents on it.
Devin, have you already been up here?
Once or twice.
Okay, we only talked to people once, Devin. Have a great rest of your day. Let's go to move on to the next guest. I thought I remembered him from the other day. He has already been up here. I'm pretty sure I had like an hour debate with him, like literally the day before yesterday. We're going to go ahead and get that next guest loaded into the stream right now. We got Kip and Waffle loading up in here, y'all. Everyone just give us a minute. Yo, Lola, thank you for the $15 donation over at PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Lola. Lola says back again. Lola, it's so good to have you in the stream with us here again today, y'all. Let's show some love to Lola down below with the $15, as well as Michael with the $10 saying thank you for all. I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you so much for the $10. And then Huda, that is HUDA, with the $13 over on PayPal, saying hello again from the UK. Well, hello to the UK. I hope that you're doing all right, Huda. And thank you so much for coming back here. You weren't here yesterday, and I appreciate you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then Arlene with a 5 on Venmo, Kelsey with a 2 on Venmo, Jeanette with a 1, Amanda with a 5, and Alvaro with a 1. Appreciate you guys so much for the love. Now, welcome in. Kip, do you support Trump?
I do not. Is that a prerequisite to being up here?
It is. I hope you have a good rest of your day, Kip. We're going to throw the rules back up on the stream. Only join if you're 18 plus, American MAGA, and ready to debate. Make sure that you're following those rules if you find yourself in the queue. If you are breaking those rules and you're in the queue, you're going to get banned. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everybody just give us a minute to get them up here. Go and put a MAGA with your rage down below in that comment section if you want to join, y'all. Welcome into You Support Trump. No, the diva does not support Trump. Self-fulfilling prophecy. They are a diva indeed. Okay, moving on. We got Coin loaded up, and here we go, everybody. Here we go, guys. Also, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen and sharing out this live with a handful of friends, y'all. Welcome, and do you support Trump, Coin?
I just wanted to say you're cool. That's it. Bye-bye.
I'm just kidding. I don't want to actually ban you. I appreciate that. But we are just looking to talk to Trump supporters. Everybody, give us a minute here, y'all. All right. We got Jordan loading into the stream right now. What's up, Jordan? You support Trump?
Yes, I do.
All right, Jordan. Are you driving?
I am.
All right, Jordan. Banned. It's not one of like the explicit rules because I don't expect many people to be driving. But you can't drive while you're on TikTok. It violates the terms of service. Plus, I just want to make sure that you're safe. Moving on to the next guys. Here we go, everyone. Welcome. And do you support Trump?
Yeah.
How old are you? Okay, Lewis left. All right, moving on. Here we go, everybody. We got Maverick loading up into the stream. Maverick is joining. Hello, Maverick. Do you support Trump?
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, no.
But hold on. Let's give a moment of silence for the people in France, because back in 1914, that's when Germany invaded France. So can we get a moment of silence for people in France?
Back in 1914 is when Germany invaded France. Was it like on like August 7th?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Pearl Harbor was what, like a handful of days ago too?
No.
Moment of silence.
No.
Moment of silence. Okay.
No.
All right, take it away. Why do you support Trump?
Yeah, there's also a moment of silence to your vape pen too. You've been hitting the shit out of it.
So real. So real, bro. So real. Why do you support Trump?
Moment of silence. Do you know what a moment of silence means?
A moment?
Yes, a moment of silence. Yeah. Just take a breath. Don't hit the vape pen. Just a moment of silence.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. Good deal. Good deal. You didn't hit the vape pen. We're good. The Zens are good right now. The Zens are good. We're good.
Why do you support Trump?
I mean, Harris didn't give me reason to support her. I mean,
Shit.
there's like
Listen.
no reason to support that lady.
Listen, if Harris didn't give you any reason to support her, running on economic policy that's exponentially better than Trump's, and policy with a plan, not just like false promises, like saying he's going to release the Epstein files or his concepts of healthcare policy. What the hell did Trump give you to support him? What is one
I
thing
mean,
he's done the
we
last
can
100
take a
days that you're
look.
fan of?
Her economic policies were trash, even when she was a VP, because her great people's great thing is like, oh yeah, she had the most tie-breaking votes. Yeah,
Which
that
has
caused
nothing to do with
inflation to go
economic
through the
policy, though.
roof.
Okay,
Huh?
yeah. What policy did the Biden-Harris administration pass that just caused wild inflation?
Was it like what was the last one that passed?
I feel like you want to say Inflation Reduction Act, but that wasn't the last bill that passed.
Well, that was one. That was it though. That caused inflation to go through the roof.
Yeah,
Did it
I
not?
was feeling that one coming on. I don't know why Trump supporters have all like latched on to this claim. Why do you think the IRA caused inflation?
No, that's actually the belief of a paper that Obama's economic guy wrote that said it will cause inflation to go through the roof.
Yes.
That is Obama's guy that did that, not Trump's or any other Republican that did that, right?
I guess Dims can be wrong too. Shocker. So how did it cause inflation?
Shucks. But she's the person for the economy.
Can you tell me how the Inflation Reduction Act caused inflation?
It caused. I didn't read the whole paper. I just read the part that he said that it would cause inflation to go through the roof.
Bro,
and it also would jump up to what 6%.
Wait.
And
So
it
you're
did.
basically
Like the guy wasn't wrong.
So you're basically telling me that you will just basically believe anything that a Democrat says ever?
No.
Okay, so then why do you believe this? Why out of the IRA cause
Because
inflation?
he
Let's hear it, buddy.
went. Because he went against the Democratic when he was obviously a high-ranking member of the Democratic. He's like, hey, we should take a look at this.
Who was
If this
he?
passed,
Who was he?
inflation is going through the roof.
Who was he?
I forget the guy's name.
Oh, we
He
don't
held
even know
like
who
two
he is,
different
but we know that he
positions for
was
the
right?
Democratic Party.
Yo, I have a question.
Huh?
Let's think about this a little bit more conceptually. What causes inflation?
Oof. What causes inflation? Well, you
Yeah.
want like a definition?
I just want you to tell me what causes inflation.
I mean, it could be several different things. Decrease in supply, expansion of money supply, increase in demand,
Oh, wait, shit. Fun fact.
government policies.
Wait, one fact. I'm sorry. I'm just going to throw that last question out of the window because you said that the IRA caused massive inflation. Question. When was
I
the
didn't say IRA.
The Inflation Reduction Act. That's what the IRA
Oh,
is.
okay.
Question.
Okay.
When was the Inflation Reduction Act signed into law?
What, 22?
August
23?
August of 2022. Did you
Yeah,
know?
see, 22.
Did you know that inflation has been dropping ever since August of 2022?
Yeah, it's even dropped more with the Trump.
Well, actually, no. We've actually now seen inflation go back up. The price of every
Oh,
grocery good
0.3%,
is significantly no. It's actually 2.6% from last April, with a massive increase in inflation in the last 200 days. But that's neither here nor there as it related to the conversation.
So, okay, what numbers are we going off of, though? So
Off of core inflation as reported by the Fed. But I want you're
Okay,
pivoting.
so give me the
You're pivoting.
numbers.
You're pivoting. I have them right in front
I'm
of me.
not pivoting. I said give me the numbers then.
Yeah, for sure. Like for instance, in May of
Give me like
2025, the rate
January,
of inflation.
February, March, April, May.
Yeah,
Give
for
me
sure.
those numbers.
Yeah, for sure. In April it was
Yeah.
2.3%, in May it was 2.4%, and in June it's 2.7%. But now that I've entertained your pivot, I want to go back to the claim that you made. That
No,
the
I
inflation-
said 0.3. You said no, it rose up 2.3. No, it rose up
since last
0.3%.
April. Since last April, it's
Oh,
risen by
last
2.6%.
April. Okay, so what
Right.
was it last April?
Okay, I will happily have this conversation with you after we finish our conversation about the inflation.
No. What
reduction
was
act.
it last April?
I'm literally going to refuse to engage in your pivot until I can finish
Nobody's
effectively
pivoting.
dismantling your claim.
You're the ones pivoting. I said what was it?
I will explain how you're
You
pivoting.
said last April was
Do you
this.
mind,
So
do you mind
what
if I
was it?
talk? I'm going to explain how you're pivoting. Are you ready?
Yeah, well, hold on. I don't want you to hit that vape pen. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the way that you're pivoting is because you came up here and you made the claim that the Inflation Reduction Act caused mass inflation under the Biden-Harris administration. So I asked you how the Inflation Reduction Act caused mass inflation under the Biden-Harris administration. You didn't have a clear description. You just said that some Democrat said so. I asked you to name the Democrat and you couldn't. So then I still yet entertain the claim, even though you had no evidence for it, by just simply asking you when the Inflation Reduction Act was passed. You didn't know, so
I
I
said
told you
22.
April of 2022. Then I pointed out how inflation in America has been going down since April of 2022. So how could it be the driver of like the 8 and 9% levels of inflation that we saw if it was passed after the 8 or 9% levels of inflation that we saw,
Whoa,
and every
buddy.
month after
Whoa.
it was passed, inflation went down? Doesn't this
Okay,
effectively
so
dispute
what
the idea
again?
that
So
the
what
IRA is
was
what
it?
caused mass inflation?
What was it last April in 2024? What was it last April?
Okay, so you're now
Was
unwilling to engage in the argument.
no. You said it increased since last April. So what was it last April? Wasn't it like 3.5 or 3.4?
I will happily have a conversation with
And like
you.
this year was like 2.3, right?
I will happily have a conversation with you about inflation in 2025 and in April of 2024. The moment you could respond to my absolute, great debunk of your claim that the IRA under the Biden
Debunk. Okay,
administration
the
caused
answer is
inflation.
multiple choice. C is always the right answer. So
Okay,
C.
so you have no answer.
Okay, so
Get
again, so what
get
was
absolutely destroyed.
again? So what was inflation last April?
Mm.
Wasn't it like 3.4 or 3.5?
All right. So I don't know if it's clocking to you that I'm standing on business right now, but no matter how many times you repeat the question, I'm not going to entertain it nor give it an answer until we finish the first conversation that we're having about the Inflation Reduction Act. I get that you want to
Okay.
try to very quickly move on from that very shitty, bullshit, obviously false claim that you made, which was that the Inflation Reduction Act caused inflation, after I was able to masterfully debunk that shit with facts and data, bro. You know, I don't know if it's clocking to you, but then you like automatically just
buddy.
are now pivoting and trying to cling on to another
Okay,
conversation.
so the Inflation Act
So
went
I'm
into
gonna make
effect
it.
of August of 20.
I'm going to make it incredibly clear. One last time for you, Maverick. We are not going to have any other conversation.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
until
So the
we finish our
Inflation Act.
conversation about your bullshit, shitty ass claim that the Inflation Reduction Act is what caused mass inflation under the Biden-Harris
Okay,
administration.
so let's talk about it. So the Inflation Act went into effect. You said 2022, right? Oh, he's in the vaping. Oh fuck! Gosh damn it! So in 2022, it went into effect, right? Okay, cool. What was inflation at? Went it like 8 or 9%?
Yeah, the day it was signed into law, inflation was at 8.3%, down from 9.1%.
Okay, so from August to December, did it go below 8?
It went down to 6.5%. So yes.
So between August to December, it went below 6?
It was at 6.5%, which is above 6.
Oh, okay. So then it stayed below 6 the whole time then, right?
What stayed below 6 when? What are you
The
saying?
inflation. The inflation, it stayed below 6, right?
When?
The end of 2024, right? Or sorry, 22 and 23 and 24. It never went back up above 6 then, right?
Right. It dipped to 6 in February of 2023, then it stayed below 6. What does this have to do with me debunking your claim when you said that the Inflation
No,
Reduction Act
because
caused inflation?
it went back up above 6, if I'm not mistaken.
You are mistaken.
So it didn't go back in like the beginning of January to like 6.4. I don't do this shit all the time, so I might be off on my numbers. Did it not go back up to like 6.4 at the beginning of the new year of 2023?
in January of 2023, the inflation rate was at 6.4%. I don't know if you
Exactly. I
didn't
don't do this
listen.
for a living. Like I said, I
I don't.
believe it was
I
6.4, but you
I don't
said it
know.
stayed below 6. So you just
Starting
debunked yourself.
no, because when did I say it started to stay below 6? In
No, I said
February of
so it stayed below
2023.
6 since August because you said it was down to 6. So
In
I go, okay, so it stayed below
no, in
6 for the
August I
remaining
said
years.
in August I said the level of inflation was 8.3%.
And you said it went down to 6. So I asked you,
It,
did it
it
stay below 6 to
and
the
it stayed
end?
below and it
And
went
I go
down to
in
6 and stayed
2023, I
below
believe
6
in
from
January, it was like,
February of 2023 onward.
oh, February now. So we're just going to skip January.
We didn't skip January. You asked me
Yeah,
when it
because it
stayed
was
below
above
6.
6.
Right. And you asked me the question, when did it stay below 6? So obviously, I'm not
No,
going to give you a month where it
you
was
said it
above
stayed below
6.
6 since the bill was introduced. You said it stayed below 6, not
Why
me.
why would I say that it stayed below 6 since the bill was introduced when I told you that the level of inflation when the bill was introduced was 8.3%?
Yeah, and you said it dropped to 6. So I asked you, did it stay below 6?
When did
You said,
I say? I have like a graph of inflation up and on my screen right next to me. Like
damn,
all the
I don't even
numbers
have that. And I
all the
knew
numbers
inflation was at 6.4 in
all the
January
numbers
of
that I've
23.
all the
That's
numbers
fucking
that I've given you
crazy.
since this conversation started have just been from the graph
hmm
I'm looking at. So I know I'm not giving you like competing or contradictory data, and it's just more likely that you are either just misinterpreting what I'm saying or you've asked me questions that you didn't mean to ask. Because like every
No,
single
I asked you,
answer
did
I've
it,
given to every single question that
you
you've
go,
asked so
yes,
far
it's
in this debate has
6 the
just been
whole
like me
time.
reading data from my
Like,
computer.
okay, that's crazy.
Okay, so what do you think that I said?
I literally said like 3 or 4 times to you.
Repeat it for a fifth.
So you said at an August. Oh fuck, he's stressing, guys. Oh damn.
No,
Why you can't
I'm
hit your
just
vape
addicted.
in? You're addicted to vape. I get it. Cool. No, you said when the IRA was introduced, it was at 8. I said, okay,
Right.
when did it dip down? You said it dipped down in December to 6, and it stayed below 6. I go, are you sure? You go, yeah. I go, I do believe in January it
Okay.
was at like 6.4.
Okay.
You go, hold on.
I
Yeah,
said
at January 6.4, but February it was 6.
okay. So
Yeah.
in December it was 6.5%. In January it was 6.4%. And in February it was 6%. I'm
So
just
in
Maverick,
22,
can you
it
let me
never
finish
dipped
talking
below
real quick?
6.
I'm going to go ahead and ask you to allow me to finish talking here, big boy.
Go ahead, little guy.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like if anybody's going to deserve the little guy label, it's going to be you. And like, I don't doubt it if you're like bigger
That,
than me in person. That's more like a metaphor
that
about the size of
sucks.
your brain. Yeah.
Mm,
And the
I
reason
don't
I'm saying
know.
that's a metaphor about the size of your brain is because you just can't even track like some data. You know, like this whole time, this hasn't even been Dean like making claims that he doesn't know or referencing knowledge that I have
No,
stored in
Dean,
my brain. This is just
off
me
a script.
reading data off of the off the computer screen.
And you still can't keep up with what you're reading.
I don't think I think you can't keep up with what I'm saying. So we're just going to clear it up
No.
really easily. So here's what I'm
Okay.
pretty sure is going on right now. I
Okay.
was
Go
able
ahead.
to successfully debunk your claim that the IRA did not cause inflation, right? I guess your
Okay.
claim would have been that the IRA did cause inflation. I was able to successfully debunk this claim by one, just demonstrating that you can't tell me how it caused inflation. Two, by demonstrating that it was signed into law at a point after our inflation rate had already started to decline. And following the IRA being signed into law, inflation continued to went down. And what was your response to these 2 points?
No, I asked you when it got signed into law. You
August
said
of
we agreed it was
2023.
August of 22. Yeah, I go, okay. So did it go below 8? You was like, no, it went below 6. I go, oh, okay. So it stayed below 6 the whole time. You go, yeah. And I go, off the top of the dome, I was like, I do believe inflation in January of 23, I do believe it was like 6.5 or
Okay.
6.4. You go, yeah, it was. But in February, it was 6.
Okay. So I disagree with your interpretation of our conversation, but I'm also not really too concerned with your interpretation
I
of
know. I
conversation
hate to debunk myself.
because it
That's
doesn't seem
crazy.
to respond to either of the 2 points that I brought up. to combat your claim that the Inflation Reduction Act caused inflation. So we'll clear it up with one simple question. Why do you believe that the Inflation Reduction Act caused inflation, even though you don't have any evidence that it caused inflation? And after it was signed into law, inflation continued to go down.
I don't know.
Okay. Thank you for admitting defeat. Anything else?
No, so why are you not a supporter of Trump?
Oh, for sure. Because A, he has launched an attack on the Constitution, and B,
How?
for sure, by signing in an executive order that explicitly contradicts one of the most important amendments of the American Constitution.
Which is?
The 14th Amendment. I don't know if you're listening to the stream, you would have heard this come up already.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what don't you like about it?
Because it's unconstitutional. Unconstitutional, sorry.
Okay, so what exactly was he trying to change?
You pass an executive order taking away birthright citizenship from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil when the 14th Amendment guarantees them citizenship.
So, but you have to be a citizen, right? Like one of the parents has to be a citizen?
No.
No?
Wrong.
Oh, so regardless of the fact, let's say you're a person of African descent, you sneak into the country, you have a kid, so the kid's American, but the parents are illegals. So what are you supposed to do with the kid then? Put him through foster care or send him back with the parents?
I don't see how that question is relevant to my statement that Donald Trump's executive order number 14160 is unconstitutional.
That's no, I'm saying no, but with the 14th Amendment as it stands, if illegals have a child on U.S. property, that kid is American, correct?
Correct.
Okay. When such parents get deported to wherever they came from, does a kid go with the parents or does it stay in America and go through the foster care?
I'll answer your question if you could describe the relevance of your question to my claim that Donald Trump circumvented the powers vested in Congress to ratify and change to the Constitution when he attempted to illegally change it himself with an executive order.
No, why can't you answer my question?
I will if you could demonstrate
Because it's
relevance to
based
my
off
point.
what Trump was trying to change. So why can't you answer the question?
I will if you could demonstrate the relevance to my point. I just don't think that there is any relevance.
So what you want the kid to go through foster care or go back with the parents?
Like I said, before I answer the
Which
question,
one? There's two options, right?
Like I said, before I answer the question, you'll have to demonstrate.
Are you
its
afraid to
relevance
answer
the
the
original
question?
point.
Because if you like, oh, I want them to go with the parents, but then you just agreed to deport an American. But if you're like, oh, I want the kid to go through foster care, that'd be fucked up too.
I don't know what's going on.
Right? Can we agree that'd be fucked up?
So it's not that I'm afraid to answer the question. It's that I don't think
Okay,
it's
so
relevant
answer
to my
it.
point.
No, I answered. So that's the point. That's the 14th Amendment. If two people have birth, two illegals have birth, right? They give birth, they conceive to a child on U.S. soil. That child is then American. We both agreed and said yes.
Right.
So I asked you,
But remember, the point that I brought up
when the
about
parents get deported, what
But this isn't relevant
do
to the
you
point
do
that I
with the
brought up.
child?
So I just want to clarify. You asked me why I didn't support Trump, and I gave you a reason. Can you repeat the reason that I gave you?
Because he tried to change the 14th Amendment. So I went strictly off how the 14th Amendment is today.
Quickly, why
did I change it?
Quickly, sir, why did I take issue with that?
Because it's against the amendment.
Because
it's
it's
against the Constitution.
unconstitutional, right?
Okay, so that's why
Right?
I asked you the
Right?
question.
And
So
then why do I take issue with that?
Because it's against the Constitution. You said that.
Because it's unconstitutional, and it's just another example of how Donald Trump has tried to take power away from the checks and balances in our federal government and consolidate them to himself, which is a mark of fascism, right? So when I tell you that I don't support Trump because he's attempting to do an illegal consolidation of power, to play dictator, which is a mark of fascism, and then you respond to that point by asking me about what happens to the citizen children of undocumented immigrants, even when that undocumented immigrant is deported, do you see how there's just no relevance between those points? Like,
No,
I would expect your natural response to be to attempt to combat the motive, the idea, or the suggestion that Donald Trump has attempted to illegally consolidate power to himself and take it away from Congress and the Constitution. But you're not doing that. You're asking me about how families work and operate when a child is a citizen and the parents are undocumented, and we're deporting the parents. Okay? Like, of course that question has an answer. You know, like the answer to the question is, well, they go with the parents unless the parents want to sign over custody to the United States. Okay, so that's how like
So you're in
family.
favor of deporting
That's
Americans.
that's how families work when they're in reference of like citizens being children of undocumented immigrants. And
So
no,
you
I'm
want to
not.
deport Americans.
So no, because I don't want to deport undocumented immigrants, right? But the point that I'm trying to show you real quick, Maverick, is that
But
this
you
has
just said deport an American.
no. I just told you descriptively how the process works. Given that we're doing mass deportation, I just don't think that we should be doing deportations, right? Makes sense.
No.
Make it make sense.
It makes sense to deport,
right? But this has no
right?
relevance
That
to my
makes
original
sense.
point.
It does. It was based off what the Constitution is stated today.
No, it was.
That's what it's based off
It
of.
was based off how I don't support him because he's been attempting to illegally consolidate power to him and take it away from Congress and the Constitution, and how how his executive order explicitly contradicted the Constitution. I understand questions of like, well, what happens when undocumented immigrants are deported and they have kids that are citizens? Can be in like general proxy to my point, right? Because there's like maybe some interesting correlation between that and birthright citizenship offered under the 14th. Right? But it just simply bears no relevance to the motivation that I was attempting to suggest when I told you that I didn't support him because it was an illegal consolidation of power. Like, can you stop with the MAGA brain rot? I think it's like frying like every single
No, I
person
just
watching
think it's
this stream.
crazy. You want to deport Americans. That's what's wild.
Well, I'm not Trump. I'm not MAGA. So not only do I not support the deportations he's already done of Americans, like a 3-year-old child with brain cancer, but I don't support mass deportation.
But you just supported it, though.
No, I didn't.
You
I
just
described
supported it. What do you mean? You just literally supported it.
No, I didn't support it. I described it.
You supported it. You just literally just supported it.
You asked me what happens to the children citizen of undocumented immigrants if the undocumented immigrant parents are to be deported. I just simply described what happens to them. They're
And
either
her
deported,
parents were deported because
you're either deported with
they
the
were
parents
illegal.
or the
Then you
parents
go,
can
yeah,
sign
he
over
just
custody
deported a kid
to
with
the
cancer.
US.
Yeah, their parents were illegal. So you
Right.
just supported them.
What do you think it means to support something?
Want happen exactly the way you want it. Like you just said.
Right. Want
If
it
the
to happen.
parents are illegal, the kids go with the parents. Like you just brought up the point. Oh, he
Right.
just deported a 6-year-old, whatever her age is, that has cancer, deported her. Yeah, she got deported with her parents. Just
Right.
how you wanted it.
Okay.
So
Well, exactly. I don't want that. Shocker. See, there's a difference between describing something and
you just
supporting
said you
something.
wanted that. Now you don't want it.
I've
So which
never
one
said
is
that I
it?
wanted it. I'll
You
happily
just said you
clarify.
did.
No, I
You just
described
said
how
you
it
did.
works. Under the current system, I described how it works. But describing
No,
how
you
something
just
works.
said
Do you mind if I talk
want
for
the
more than 3
American
seconds?
citizen to go with their parents. That's what you just said.
Do you
Then
mind
you
if I
just try
talk for
to
3 seconds?
No, I want you to clarify. You just said
Well, I'm trying to clarify. That's why I want to be
go
able to
with the
speak.
parents. Then you try to give, Trump just deported a kid with cancer to go with their parents. So he's a bad guy. But you just did exactly what you wanted. So
Okay, great. Now I'm going to clarify.
Yeah.
I want you to listen very closely to me. So
I just listened to you, and you hated that I listened to you.
So you asked me the question, what happens to the children born on American
I didn't ask
soil?
what happens. I said, what do you want to happen? That's what I said. What do you want to happen? You have two options. It's either
So you didn't ask me what I want to happen.
they
You're the one
go
who
with the
asked me what
parents,
happens.
or B, they go through foster care. I said, which one would you choose?
Okay.
You
Now
said
interrupting me. I'm
with
going to
the
start
parent.
spam muting. Unfortunately, we have to spam mute so I can speak. Let me know when
Go
we're
ahead,
done
Dean.
acting like kids, Maverick.
Go ahead.
All right. So you didn't ask me what I want to happen.
I did.
Because I've already clarified what I want to happen is to stop the mass deportation. You asked me what happens, okay? And it's descriptively true.
No, I asked which one would you want? I gave you two options. Which one?
Oh, okay. So then you suggested to
did.
me a false dichotomy because you'd be forgetting the third option
No.
of not deporting them.
I gave you two options. Either A, when the parents get deported because they're illegals, either A, the kid goes with the parents, or B, since they're American citizens, they go through foster care. You said they need to go with their parents. Then you just try to say
No, I said that they
Trump's a
either go
bad
with their
guy.
parents or the parents signed over
Deported a
custody to America.
to go with.
I think that this guy's just
So-
like too brain rotted to follow like a conversation. Like this guy's just simply
I
like
just
too
said
brain
what
rotted
you
to follow
said,
a
dude.
conversation. Can I tell you what
That's
I
what
want?
you said. You did. You said go with the parents. That's what you said.
Okay, well I think that you misinterpreted me. Can I clarify?
Yeah, go ahead.
What I want is for the deportations to end.
Why?
Why? Because I think that they're bad for this country and they're
How
bad for
so?
the immigrants. According to the Center on American Progress, if we were to remove every undocumented immigrant from America tomorrow, our GDP would be cut by $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion per year. Undocumented
How?
immigrants. How? Because there's
Mhm.
8.3 million undocumented immigrants that work in America. They're more likely to actively participate in our labor force. And when we would consider their direct contributions to the GDP, as well as the indirect contributions to the GDP, which would include the profit in which is extracted off their labor by their employer, as well as the overall productivity that would be lost in the workforce and in the consumer base if we were to remove them, it would amount to that 1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion figure.
So how many illegals came in during the 4 years under Biden?
After you respond to one of my first argument, why I don't support mass deportation, I'll happily entertain your question.
No, because everybody says we don't know how many illegal immigrants have crossed the border, but yet somehow we know how many illegal.
How many undocumented immigrants have crossed the border is not relevant to why I don't support mass deportation. So please respond to my argument why I don't support mass deportation.
Support your argument why you
Respond.
don't support mass deportation. Again, how do we know how many illegal immigrants are in the world?
It's not relevant.
How many illegal immigrants cross the border?
It's not relevant to my statement, or more so my argument, about why I think that mass deportation is bad for America.
Because it's going to drop the GDP 1 point whatever trillion dollars.
That's one of the reasons, is that it's very bad for our economy.
But yet we don't know how many illegals cross the border. So how do we get that number?
Based upon the amount of undocumented immigrants that are working and pay taxes through ITINs.
But yet we don't know how many people cross the border.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if that's claimed true. MAGA sure claims to know that it's close to 20 million. And B, it's just simply not relevant to my argument why I don't support mass deportation.
Okay, so how many cross the border then? If Democrats know, how many cross?
It's not relevant to my argument.
Because we don't know.
It's just simply not relevant to my argument. Like I like when we're like engaging in debate, we have to have a back and forth about like relevant aspects of each other's positions, right? And the amount of undocumented entries into America in the last 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 years is not a relevant aspect of the reasons why I don't support mass deportation. If I gave
because
you
it's going to drop our GDP 1 point something.
If I gave you an argument that I don't support mass
Yeah,
deportation,
we don't know how many cross.
Listen, if I gave you an argument that I don't support mass deportation, and inside of this argument I like clearly included some relevancy to the fact of how many undocumented immigrants have come into the country, then your question would be valid and relevant. However, because my argument, insofar as why I don't support mass deportation, bared and drew no relevance from the amount of undocumented border crossings, and only hinged on how many undocumented immigrants we know are working in our labor force and contribute to our GDP, buy our goods, and pay taxes, the amount of undocumented crossings into America in the last 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 years is not relevant. This is my last time explaining this concept to you, Maverick. If you simply don't understand this concept, I will very quickly remove you from the live stream and move on to the next guest that hopefully has an IQ higher than a dog. Right? Because
Higher than a
honestly, I feel like
dog?
if I had my like family pet
I mean,
up
we
here,
all dogs.
if I had Shelby, my family dog, up on the stream debating me right now, Shelby could give me better arguments than you can. All right?
Because you can't answer questions. It's okay.
Well, it's not that I can't answer questions. It's that I will only entertain relevant ones, especially when I'm asking you to respond to my argument. And now that was the last time. I mean, I told you if you didn't understand the concept of the relevancy of questions in relations to one's position, after I gave you a very clear description of how that works and what I'd entertain and what I wouldn't entertain as it relates to the position that I want you to respond to, I'm going to kick you. Okay? And then you just respond to that by once again, just like demonstrating a lack of an ability to understand that concept of the relevancy of questions indexed to any given position that I would hope to debate with you by asking, or more so making the statement that I can't answer questions. So I'm going to kick you. And once again, I will go ahead and reaffirm for everybody watching that, yeah, my family pet Shelby, my dog, right, has a higher IQ than Maverick.
Hello?
Welcome in, Thomas. How old are you?
I'm 19.
What year were you born in?
I was born in okay, I'm actually just gonna ask you a question.
Skedaddle. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute to get that next guest, Luke, loaded into the stream. For everybody watching at home, guys, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen and showing out this live with a handful of friends. You know, guys, I'm going to be honest. I think I've gotten to a point where it's like, I'm good. I'm chilling with these debates. You know, like that last guest was obviously a rage baiter. You know what I mean? But it's like, I didn't feel any like strong like emotional annoyance or reaction to it. I just like handled it with grace. Like I finally feel like I'm at that point where I could take almost anything. which is good. You know, I've been working to get to this point for like years of being able to like handle like rage baiters like Maverick with grace. You know what I mean? And I'm finally there. That feels good. Like I could finally say with confidence that rage bait like that doesn't invoke like an emotional reaction from me and like doesn't annoy me. You know, like it's just kind of like the expectation now. And after doing it for 4 hours a day for like 2 years straight, I've literally logged thousands and thousands and thousands of hours doing this. Because I've finally logged thousands of hours doing this, I've finally gotten to the point where it doesn't annoy me or like invoke an emotional reaction anymore. That's great. Welcome in, TJ. Do you support Trump? All right. We're going to go ahead and kick TJ out here. And we're also going to go ahead and put the rules up on the phone screen, everybody. So if you do want to join the live, guys, make sure that you're following the rules. Only join if you're 18 plus, American MAGA, and ready to debate. So take a good look at them rules. Let's go ahead and try to get that next guest loaded in here right now, everybody. Let's try to get that next guest loaded in here right now. We got Olivia K loading up in. I've seen that Olivia has been requested to by a lot of the people in the comment section. Welcome in, Olivia. Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What time is it?
Wait, let me check my.
Get punked. Moving on. Here we go, everybody. Follow the rules. Let's go ahead and see what the next guest has to say, everybody. We got Liam loaded into the stream. While we got Liam loaded in, Leonard, thank you for the $4 over on PayPal saying I can't with these guests, man. Yeah, that last one was pretty bad. I won't lie. And then Justin, thank you so much for the $28 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for that love, Justin. You are phenomenal. Justin says even if the parents were undocumented, it doesn't justify deporting a child with cancer. They could get the treatment that they need here, and this guy doesn't care. I absolutely agree, Justin. Thank you for the love. Everybody, please show some love to Justin down below in that chat for the $30. Let's get 300 Justin W's down below right now, as well as SLD. Thank you for the galaxy. Welcome in, TJ. You MAGA?
Yes.
All right.
I'm 19.
Yo!
I'm 19.
All right, welcome in, man. You're all good. I saw that in the chat. Wayne, thank you for the $100 donation over on Venmo, saying for 15 minutes of therapy. Yo, Wayne, bro. I love this Wayne guy. Welcome back into the stream, man. It's so good to have you in here with us for the day. And thank you for the $100 donation for some therapy. I'm definitely going to need it after the last guest. Wayne, all the love to you, man. I hope everything is going great for you. Thank you for your support. Everybody watching the live, let's all together show some love to Wayne. Thank you once again, one last time. I appreciate that, Mr. Wayne. You are awesome. As well as Jillian with the $1, Emery with the $1, and Sammy with the $5. I appreciate y'all so much, and thank you so much for the love. All right, Mr. TJ, I'm going to go and pass the mic off to you at this point. Why the hell do you support the Orange Menace's president?
So, back when he served his first term, I'm middle class and we were in poverty really bad. And he helped me and my family get up to where we needed to be from how far we were down at the time.
Okay, what did he do? Okay, he's already gone. Shocker. Oh, and he's back. Hi. What did he do?
My bad.
No worries. So what did Donald Trump do to make the poor richer?
He didn't make the poor richer. It was more the middle class. He gave more jobs and employment to them.
Oh, okay. What has Donald Trump done to create more jobs for middle-class Americans?
1 second.
Okay. Well, he actually didn't need another second. He just left. Okay, TJ, you liar. That wasn't 1 second. You just left. Leaving isn't 1 second. I'm never going to talk to you again in my life. 1 second? More like 85 years, TJ. More like 85 years, TJ. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute to get that next Trump supporter loaded in. And Moses, thank you for the $1 over on Venmo. Once again, if you're watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio, everybody. I get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms, and they go straight to me, and you get a notification at the top of this phone where I can read out your name and any and all attached messages. I appreciate you guys so much for the love today. It looks like Morg's left. We're going to try to find that next guest right now. Everyone, just give us a minute to get that next guest loaded up in here. Go to put a MAGA with your age down below in the comment section if you'd like to come up here and join. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Hi, Dean. I just wanted to touch on something that Maverick had said.
Are you a Trump supporter?
No, he just.
Banned. I'm sorry. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. Just give us a minute to get that next guest loaded into the live, y'all. We got Waffle Biscuit loading up in. Actually, no, we got Lily loading up in. Lily, I swear to God, you better be following the rules. We're going to throw the rules back on top of the screen. Whoop, those aren't the rules. That's my name. Alrighty. Hello, Lily. Are you following the rules? Do you support Trump?
No, I don't.
Banned. Get the fuck out of here. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. Just give us a minute. We got Dirt loading up into the stream. Here we go, everybody. Give us a minute, y'all. Make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. Let's get up to 2.5 million likes. What the hell? Wait,
I got this for you. I got this for you.
Oh my God. Yo, that's some crazy work. Everybody on YouTube, y'all just missed out on some shit. Everybody on YouTube, y'all just missed out on some shit. What the? Oh, if you're curious, it was a picture of a pink American flag. It wasn't no, it was like an actual flag. It was a pink American flag with a picture of me, like my face superimposed onto, I think that was Sabrina, hanging on her wall. And it was like the size of her wall. Dude, moving on. Banned. Banned. Hello, do you support Trump?
Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up? You MAGA?
Yeah.
All right, how old are you?
19, 2005.
There we go. Also, everybody that's been commenting saying that my mic is a little bit lower than the guest, I think it should be good now. And Keith, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo saying exactly that, saying, hey, bud, your mic is a little quiet compared to the callers. They're already loud and wrong enough. Okay, I think that my mic should be a little bit louder now. I appreciate you so much for the love, Keith. You are phenomenal. Thank you so much. Guys, show some love to Keith down below. You said that you're 20, born in 05?
I said I'm 19, born in 05, August.
Okay.
Late August.
Yeah, late August. Yeah, you would be 19. Take it away. Why the hell do you support Trump? What the fuck?
Yeah, so I just want to go back to the IRA talk that you had with Western. Obviously, he wasn't like the, ideal candidate to be debating you or whatever, but I just want to know your thoughts on the IRA.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good bill because of its multi-million-dollar investments into renewable and non-renewable energy resources. However, seemingly this is not going to be, relevant to a position on why you support Trump. And right now, my threshold of being able to deal with BS that isn't relevant to the questions I'm asking is very low after dealing with that for the last 45 minutes straight. So I will ask you once again, why do you support Trump?
Definitely this year Kamala Harris didn't have. Say what?
Kamala.
Yeah, same thing. She didn't have a good policy and everything like that. She never supported what she really had in store for America.
Okay, that was not clear whatever you just said, it wasn't clear. I followed the first part where you didn't like her policy, but then you went on to say she didn't have really in store what she wanted.
I mean, she didn't have policy.
That was incoherent.
She never, whenever she was asked about what policy she had in store for America, she never really answered the question.
Okay, for sure. Well, let's play a quick game to, see if that's true or false. So on the floor of the debate between her and Trump, she was asked what her healthcare policy is. She went over how she wants to limit the amount that any American citizen can pay for out-of-pocket private pharmaceutical drugs to $2,000 per year. And she went over how she wants to give our government a greater renegotiating ability with private pharmaceutical companies to save us around $400 billion in the next 10 years. When Donald Trump was asked what his healthcare policy is, what did he say?
He was going to he was going to take away funding to Medicare and decrease... what was it? He was going to decrease, I don't know. It was something like decrease spending for Medicare.
Okay. Well, no, that's actually not what he said when he was asked what his healthcare policy was. When he was asked what his healthcare policy was, he just said that he had concepts of a plan. Now, what he's actually done in the last 200 days...
No, he did say that he was going to put healthcare back in the hands of the American people is actually what he said, but yeah.
No, he just said that he had concepts of a plan. And he even like
mean,
saying that he's going to put healthcare back in the hands of the American people. Like that's not a plan. That's not policy. That's like a virtue signal statement. So now you've just actually reaffirmed that Kamala Harris had policy and he didn't. But if we want to look at what he's actually done in the last 200 days in office, yeah, he defunded Medicaid by around $900 billion and kicked 10 million Americans off of it. Is that something you support?
I mean, I don't think you understand that he's making ACA cheaper for individuals. And what he means by putting it back in the hands of American people, he's making it cheaper.
Oh,
Like,
really?
does that make sense?
Oh, really? Because we have studies from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities that tell us that we're actually going to expect premiums under the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid to go up by upwards of 75%. Okay, but you responded to my question asking you about how he's kicking 10 million Americans off of Medicaid by saying that he's going to make the premiums cheaper. So not only was that a
He actually
non-response
did
to the
make the
statement that I
premiums
made,
cheaper
but
by
it's also
34%.
false because once again, because of the massive cuts to Medicaid, and we're now expecting premiums to increase by 75%.
Okay, let's just go back to the premiums. So
No, because I want to go back to what I brought up in the first place, which is the fact that his cuts to Medicaid under the big beautiful bill are cutting 10 million Americans off of it. I will happily have a debate with you about. I will happily have a debate with you about the premiums and if they're going up or down because I've very compelling evidence that he's making the premiums go up due to defunding it. But this is not responding to my claim that it is cutting 10 million Americans off of it through the new provisions offered under the big beautiful bill. And I'm going to be honest, the only reason why I'm being so fucking cutthroat on you is because you're doing the same dumb shit that the last guest did of not responding to what I'm saying. Not only is this insufferable and boring for everybody watching the stream, not only is it unproductive because you're unwilling to engage in the claims that I make, but holy shit, it makes me feel like I'm literally living in hell. Okay, when I'm doing like guest to guest to guest, back to back to back, having Maverick come up here saying that the IRA caused inflation, then I'm like, you have no evidence of that and inflation went down. Then he's like, oh, 6% inflation, 6% inflation. What? 6% inflation. What? 6% inflation. And then we start talking about immigration and I'm like, no, yeah, like Donald Trump wants to consolidate power away from the Constitution and he passed an illegally
Hey man, if you want to keep rambling, that's cool. But
away from the children of undocumented immigrants. And then he
but
was
I'm
like,
still
are
trying
they
to
deported?
respond to what
You support them being deported. You support them being deported. Then I'm like, I actually don't support mass deportation because it's going to really hurt our economy. And then he's like, oh, so how many undocumented immigrants enter? How many undocumented immigrants enter? Then I kick him because he's not answering any questions. And then I bring you up on stream. And then I'm like, yo, what the hell is Trump's healthcare policy? And then you're like, making it premiums. Or sorry, putting it in the hands of the average everyday American. Then I'm like, no, that's not what he said. He said that he only had concepts of a plan. Then what he actually did with the big beautiful bill is he took 10 million people off of it by defunding it $900 billion. You're like, oh, the premiums. Like, just like Maverick, you are not responding to the points that I'm making. So I'm going to be very clear with the point that I want you to respond to. The point that I want you to respond to is the fact that when he was running for president, he announced no policy for healthcare. He said he only had concepts after 8 years. And then when he was president, after he won the election and he was inaugurated, he got the big, beautiful bill passed that defunded Medicaid by $900 billion, and it kicked 10 million people off of the healthcare they need to live and thrive. Okay? In responding to this position, premiums are neither here nor there. The amount of people being kicked off of the healthcare is what I'm asking you to respond to.
Okay, you done? So first of all, I want to just go back, just lightly touch on the premium, and then I'll answer your question. First of all, the premiums were decreased by 34%. Okay? And now I'll go back to what you said. So you wanted to know what he promised during his campaign for what? For healthcare?
You already answered that question. you already
Then what do
said
you want to
nothing.
know? That's what I'm confused. What do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know if you support the big beautiful bill kicking 10 million low-income Americans off of Medicaid.
I mean, I think at some point we have to do something about Medicare and Medicaid because I don't see how you can have Medicare and Medicaid and not have inflation. Does that make sense? Like at some point we have to do something about it. So, I mean, I don't think that everything he's doing is necessarily right, but I'm also not just being, I don't know. Like, at some point, you have to do something about it.
So Medicaid can cause some inflation. Do you want to know
Yes.
how Medicaid can cause some inflation?
How?
By spending money on life-saving healthcare. I'm really okay if spending money on life-saving healthcare, so we're putting more money in the pockets of our doctors, our hospital workers, our nurses, and our hospital staff that saves lives, then turn around and spend that money in the economy.
Yeah, but doctors typically have terrible health care.
What?
Doctors have terrible health care.
What does this have to do with anything I just said?
You just said that doctors, you want the money to go to doctors.
Well, I'm just saying the way that Medicaid causes inflation is by ensuring that more people are getting access to healthcare they need to live. But obviously, healthcare costs money. So when more people get access to healthcare they need to live, the government's paying for that healthcare, thereby
Yes.
putting money into the money supply, right? But I'm totally fine
but it's
with
definitely
money.
increased.
Listen. I'm totally fine with more money going into the money supply if it literally necessarily means more people are having their life saved.
Okay, then why should the average middle, or let's just say the average American person, have to pay for others to have that healthcare then?
Because we pay taxes, and then those taxes are then used by our government to provide what is necessary for its constituents. Like,
Yeah,
do you
but not
think
all
that the
tax-
taxes
go
that
ahead.
you pay should go towards like building public infrastructure and roads?
I believe that the tax cuts that have been happening and
Not what I asked. Why are you Maverick 2.0?
I'm
You're
trying to
Maverick
get to
Mini.
your point.
Then fucking get to it, bro.
Then why are you cutting me off?
Because you're not getting to it. And I've just been dealing with this redundant cycle of non-answers, pivots,
How
and
is this
deflections
redundant? We've
for an
literally made
hour.
progress on what we're debating.
There's been no progress made. You made a statement saying that you don't think the average American should be paying for healthcare. That on its own was a pivot
I
away
said I don't
from
think
no.
we should be paying
Shut the
for
hell
people
up.
that can't-
That on its own was a pivot away from your claim that it somehow caused inflation. Then I was like, I'm okay with more money going into the money supply if it means people are accessing fucking healthcare they need to live. Like when you said that you don't think people should be paying taxes for healthcare, that on its own was a goddamn deflection, Maverick Mini, okay? But now I've entertained the deflection by asking you a goddamn simple question. So answer the simple question. Are you okay with the money that you pay in taxes going towards building roads?
Yes.
Why?
We need roads to travel.
Okay, so you're saying that it's damn near essential in order to flourish?
Yes.
Is healthcare damn near essential in order to flourish?
Yes.
Oh.
But I believe.
Oh, okay.
Hold
so
on,
then I
but
just want to clarify,
believe-
you're okay with your tax dollars going towards
Dude, you
things
see what you're
that are
doing?
damn near essential to flourish, and you agree
You
that
mute me
healthcare
when
would
you-
fall under this category. So thereby, by proxy of this idea, you're okay with your tax dollars going towards healthcare.
Dude, you make no sense, bro.
I'm sorry that you cannot follow the most simple concept invented since 2 + 2.
I'm following. You keep muting me when I'm about to make a statement.
Go ahead and talk, kid.
It's the same thing the liberals do with the mass media. You just put out there what you want people to see and hear. Stupid, bro.
The only thing stupid here is you, dude. You left. Great. Let's go to move on to the next guest. By the way, he didn't have an answer to that question because he left. Like, again, bro, dude, these guests today are so bad. These guests today are so bad. Oh my God, these guests today are so bad. For everybody watching, I'm sorry that you have to be dealing with this insufferable BS today. I don't know what's in the air. I don't know if it's a full moon, but the Trump supporters today are literal rocks. Dude, they're rocks. They're rocks today. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guest. Hopefully we don't get another Maverick Mini up in here, okay, guys? Make sure if you're in that queue, it's because you support Trump. We're going to go to get them up here, y'all. All right, everybody. Everyone, just give us a minute, y'all. Make sure that we are double tapping away in that phone screen and sure not that live. Somebody in the chat says I'm not gonna lie, you're being kind of impatient. Yeah. After like an hour and a half of it, I am getting pretty impatient. I'm getting pretty fed up. I think I'm doing much better than 99.9% of people in my shoes would be doing. But I'll continue to strive for even higher highs and more perfection in controlling my emotions. Welcome in, Amanda. Are you MAGA?
I am.
How old are you?
I'm 19, born in June '06.
Great, Amanda. I'm going to go ahead and thank a handful of people here. Just give me a second. First and foremost, Gina, that is Gena. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Show some love to Gina down below. Y'all, thank you. Gina says, you're seriously my idol. Keep up the great work. First and foremost, please don't idolize me, but I still do get it. That is incredibly kind of you, and I appreciate you so much for your kindness and your generosity. Thank you so much, Gina. As well as Lucilia, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for that love, Lucilia. You are awesome. Lucilia says, you're so slay. P.S. This is for a new anxiety pin. You know what, Lucilia? Thank you. I'm going to need that after today. That's incredibly kind of you. And then Meredith with the $10 as well, saying that Maverick Mini is absolutely insane. Oh, are you saying the statement or him? Because I don't know, man. I'll shoot for the latter. Then Emily, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo 13 minutes ago, saying, Dean, you are my SMR. Appreciate all that you do. Thank you for being here, Emily. You are awesome. Thank you. And then, Kristen, thank you for the $50 donation over on Venmo. Holy crap, Kristen. Thank you so much. You are awesome. Kristen says, much love. Thank you, Kristen. That is Christin. Show some love to Miss Kristen down below in that chat. I hope that you're doing well. You're always in here, and we love you so much. As well as Evita, thank you for the $7 over on Venmo, and Kai with the 20. Thank you for the love, Kai. This is KYE saying it's not clocking to them that you're standing on business. So real, Kai. So real. Now, Amanda, I'm going to go and give the mic to you. Why the hell do you support Trump, quite frankly?
Well, I support him because, due to his stance on abortion. I'm anti-abortion, no exceptions, because abortion really is just socially acceptable eugenics.
No exceptions. So even if the mother's going to die if she gives birth, you still think she should be forced to give birth?
Yes, and my reason behind this is because with abortion, people are able to go through and pick out traits that they would like or dislike, including whether or not the person is going to live or die, the child or the mother. But I think that it should just be allowed to run its course the way God intended. And honestly, to continue that, I think that modern medicine should be kind of dialed back because the planet has it's way overpopulated. And by continuing to push abortion and modern medicine, not only are we trying to sort out undesirable traits, which is again eugenics, but we are also contributing to the overpopulation of the earth.
So you're literally going to give me a fucking heart attack. You're literally going to give me a heart attack. Like, my heart's actually hurting. That's kind of concerning. I need to check on that. I don't know what's going on. It's like actually in pain. I'm not. 1 second. Like, remember those heart palpitations that I had on stream a while ago? My heart's kind of hurting again. Here, give me a second, everyone. I want to pay attention to that. Make sure that we're good. 1 second, everybody. Just give us a minute. Ooh. See, like, I'm young, so that's like the reason why I'm not like, I don't rush to the emergency room when this happens or anything, because like heart attacks just don't happen to 20-year-olds. But like, if I was like 55, I feel like I would be doing that right now. I think I'm good. Okay. I'm just gonna focus on drinking some water. Okay, yeah, that's the second like big heart issue I've had on stream. A couple months back, I had those crazy palpitations. I think I'm good. I need to calm down. Okay, the cortisol. It's the cortisol, folks. But I don't know, how do I prevent cortisol when I literally have somebody telling me that women should die? Okay, I'm gonna go to respond to that. So the first reason that you told me women should die is because nature should run its course, right?
Yes.
Hospitals infringe upon nature running its course. Should we ban hospitals?
Perhaps.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you just want to go back to like caveman era, right?
Yes, maybe we should go back there and start again, see if it goes differently the second time around.
Did cavemen have iPhones and an internet connection?
No.
Okay. Well, you're obviously on one right now talking to me. So why don't you practice what you preach?
Maybe I will.
Okay, do it. I want you to turn your camera on, go get a hammer, and I want to see the hammer coming down to the camera and breaking your phone.
Why would I do that?
Because it's not letting nature run its course. It's unnatural. Do it right now. No joke. No joke, Amanda. I'm going to go ahead and send you an invite to turn on your camera. I want you to do it right now. I'm not even joking.
I think if I picked up a hammer, that wouldn't be nature running its course. That would be me making the decision.
What?
If I went and got a hammer, that's not nature running its course. That'd be me making the decision to go get a camera, or sorry, not a camera, a hammer, and take it and break the camera.
Sorry, we had a little bit of a lag spike there. We're back now. No, it's you destroying things that are unnatural. Because you remember you told us that you wanted to destroy things that are unnatural, like healthcare? Well, then you should destroy things that are unnatural, like your phone. Do it right now.
Are we going to destroy hospitals in real life? Are we actually going to destroy healthcare? Once that happens, I will destroy my phone.
Wait, why don't you want to take the first step?
Because I, as a singular person, especially one who is under the voting age, still
How old are you?
should be able. 19. Oh, wait, sorry, I'm not under the voting age. I forgot that was alcohol. Alcohol is also unnatural. Drinking alcohol is unnatural. Alcohol exists in real life, but drinking alcohol is unnatural, which is also why I stay away from that.
Okay, Amanda didn't destroy her phone. Amanda, you should really do that. It'd be great. It'd be very beneficial for the world, getting us back to a dawn of where everything is natural and shit. I think that we need that. No, I completely agree, Amanda. Only in the scope of you destroying your phone, though. Only in the scope of her destroying the phone. We should destroy everything that is unnatural, if and only if it's Amanda's cellular device. I think that she should really take the first step. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guest right now, everybody. Just give us a minute to get that next Trump supporter loaded into the live. If you find yourself in that queue, make sure that it means that you're an American adult that's at least 18 years old and you support Trump. Hi, are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Perfect. Before we hop into the debate, I have a handful of people to thank here real quick. Delaney, thank you for the $5 over on Vim. I appreciate you for the love. Caitlin, 3 minutes ago with the $10, saying that this girl believes in God. God gave us free will. Who is she to take that away? So real Caitlin, appreciate you for the $10. Let's get 100 Caitlin W's down below. Isaac with the 5, I appreciate you so much. And then Amanda, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Amanda said, as a pathology and physiology instructor, people like this hurt my head and nauseate me. Thank you for spending your time and energy on them, Dean. No, they should hurt everybody's head. Like, she was literally like women should die. Yeah, no, that should hurt everybody's head. Thank you for the love, Amanda, with the $20. And then Cadence with the $15. Everybody show some love to Cadence in the chat. W Cadence is down below. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They say Amanda might be unhinged. I don't know. I'd change that from might be to definitely, bro. Holy crap. As well as Stevens. Thank you for the $5 over on PayPal saying keep it up and stay calm. Yeah, man, honestly, just so far today, I'm just disassociated anymore. Like, this is just insane. Now, real quick, Julian, what time is it?
It is 4:40 p.m.
All right, take it away. Why the hell do you support Trump as president? He's a terrible guy, terrible president with terrible policy and a small brain, quite frankly.
I think he's making the economy better, if I'm going to be honest.
How old did you say you were?
19.
What year were you born in?
2004.
Okay. All right. Well, there's where your math is wrong, Mr. Julian. Bad math, Julian. Bad math. I mean, that one's really simple. So we're currently in the year 2025. Just subtract 2004 from 2025. You'll get a difference of 21 years, right? Then accounting for the fact that people could still have their birthday in 2024, this means that they'd be 21 at the oldest and 21 at the youngest, given that they were born after August 7th, 2004. There's just basic math on how to calculate birth dates. Do you support Trump?
No, I actually
Banned.
don't.
We're going to put the rules back up on screen, everybody. If you're trying to join the live, guys, make sure that you're following the rules. All right, everybody, make sure to look at the phone screen. Make sure that you're 18 plus, American MAGA, and ready to debate. Lexi, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. I appreciate you for the love, Lexi. Lexi says, I always love watching your lives. Well, it's super awesome to have you in here with us for the day, Lexi. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go and load that next guest, Mark, up here, as well as Laura with your amazing gift over on TikTok. Thank you, Laura. And then once again, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio, y'all. Welcome in, Mark. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
How old are you?
25.
Okay, obvious lie. Moving on. Here we go, everybody. We honestly, it doesn't look like we made any people in the queue that are like, riled up Trump supporters. It looks like majority of y'all are trolls. Can we like cut that shit out? Can we stop doing like the trolls and whatnot? Yo. How we doing, Eddie? You support Trump?
Yeah, I support.
Oh, fuck, Eddie. Hop back in that queue. Yo, B-Pick, you MAGA? Okay, B-Pick is the one that isn't here. Eddie, hop back in that queue, man. I didn't mean to kick you. I meant to kick the other guest. Let's go to get that next guest, rolling right now, guys. Going to put a MAGA with your age down below if you want to join, you guys. Going to put a MAGA with your age down below if you want to join. Hello, are you MAGA? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, not here. Thank you so much for the cool gift. The Kicker Schaller, I think it's called over in TikTok. I appreciate that. All right, who's next? We got Bailey loading up into the box. Here we go. Hey, Bailey, you MAGA?
Oh my god, I did not mean to join. I'm so sorry. I love you.
All right. Everybody, we're going to go ahead and do a quick exercise real quick. Look at the middle of the phone screen if you're on TikTok. You're going to see text overlaid on top of my head. What does it say? Only join if you're 18 plus, American MAGA, and ready to debate. Those are the rules. If you are not following the rules, you'll be very quickly kicked, okay? Like, make sure that you're following those rules. Hello, do you support Trump? Dirt bike?
I'm so sorry. I'm the same person.
Okay, moving on to the next guest, Malachi. If you're sorry, then you want to break them in the first place. All right. Hi, Malachi. Do you support Trump?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can, Malachi. How old are you?
19.
Great. What year were you born in?
06, January.
Great. So why the hell do you support Trump?
Okay, why shouldn't I support Trump? It's just gonna be my question to you, just kind of because you don't think everything he does is bad, right?
Yeah, like 99% is though. So you asked me the question, why should you not support Trump? I need one clarifying question before I tell you.
Go ahead.
Do you want a doctoral thesis, a 4-paragraph essay, or 1 paragraph?
Just give me a topic point and let me respond. Like what topic, what issue?
I know,
do you
but
not
like,
relative?
how much information do you want? 1 paragraph?
The
worth of
initial
information?
just the question, just like two sentence question, very quick, very easy.
So a 2-sentence reduction of why I don't support Trump is because his character is fucking abysmal and his domestic and foreign policy suck. Right? But like, we'd usually say it would require a little bit more of like a explanation than that. But that's a good starting point.
No, that's great. Okay, so you don't like domestic and foreign policy. Let's hone in on foreign policy. What foreign policy is it that you disagree with, and what foreign policy would you like to see from if you voted for Kamala, right? Kamala.
But like,
Kamala, my
I mean,
bad.
I'll be clear about his foreign policy that I disagree with because that's what you're requesting of me. Just look at what he did to Ukraine, bro. He ran on taking funding away from them, then he did do it. But now, like 200 days later, he's now resumed funding to Ukraine because it got so bad and Russia was so empowered and like killed more innocent people and had an easier a time with expanding their country. So he literally conceded to what the Democrats have been wanting all along, right? Even now, the Trump administration has made it clear that the Democrats were right and he was wrong because he revoked funding after running on lower funding. And now he's now resumed it all because it's what's actually better, right? So there's one very clear example. Like, I just want to start with that one super clear example. He conceded to what the Democrats wanted all along.
Okay, so your stance on that is you think that Ukraine should have funding basically unlimited, or thereof. And we've sent them a lot of money. We don't need to necessarily get into how much we've sent them, but we've sent them a lot of money. And you think should continue to send them money until Russia completely backs down, or at what point should it stop?
Until the war's over. And now not only the Democrats in Congress agree with me, the Republicans in Congress agree with me, Trump agrees with me, Pete Hegseth agrees with me, his cabinet agrees with me, the action of the presidency agrees with me, the GOP agrees with me, MAGA agrees with me. I've been right all along.
Okay, so when we talk about until the war ends, there has been lots of talks about the war ending, and he said that he would end it on day one. I didn't really think he would. That's kind of, I took that more of like he's going to try to make steps on day one, but if he would have ended it on day one, I would have actually been shocked, as I'm sure most people would have. But
what does it take to end the war? And I don't think funding it
bro.
is necessarily the right. Hold on, but I don't think funding it is necessarily the right option.
Okay, then that just means that you disagree with Trump. So now I've been able to demonstrate to you how you disagree with Donald Trump's foreign policy. So why do you support him?
Well, you said his foreign policy actively is funding it. I disagree with funding it. I think
Okay,
we
so
should not fund the war.
exactly. So you're telling me a reason why you don't like Trump. So tell me a reason why you do like Trump.
Well, I wanted to vote for him because he said he would not fund it, and I
Okay,
do not want to
now
fund
he's
the war.
contradicted that, and now he's giving money to Ukraine again. Does this mean that you no longer support him today? Because that's the question on top of my head. How do you still support him?
Well, under that necessary, like that specific thing, I do not agree with that. But I don't have to agree with somebody 100% to vote for him. I mean, I'm not a cult,
Okay,
so I don't
so
have
then
to agree with my leader 100%.
what do you agree with Trump about? Why do you support him as president? Why do you still support Trump as president?
So why do I support? So all the stuff with the tariffs and all that. I mean, he increased our trade with the EU. He had them put tons of money into our economy. Same thing with Dubai and Saudi Arabia. The Arabs, AUE, sorry, and all that. The big boost in that, and then also his border policy and immigration policy.
Okay, well, to start off with you telling us that he's been able to get a lot of foreign investments from the UAE, Saudi Arabia, the EU, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this is simply just a misinterpretation of fact. So he's taken so many L's with investment into into American manufacturing because of his terrible economic policy, because of the tariffs, and because of the mass deportation, that he's just now gloating his wins, right? But when we actually look at macro level business investment into America, we see that it's fallen dramatically for the first time in years after a massive boom under the policy of the Biden-Harris administration. Like, in fact, I'll even just bring it up on screen here. This is a source coming from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. This is measuring investment into American manufacturing. If you want to see the y-axis, that would be how much, or you want to see individual data points, which is per quarter, just go to Google, type in FRED, investment into American manufacturing, and what you see is under the Biden-Harris administration, it went fucking boom, right? But then the moment Trump won the election, Q4 of 2024, it went stagnant. The first quarter of 2025, it went stagnant. And then the second quarter of 2025, it went down. Even though apparently over the course of the last 200 days, he's been, getting all of these great trade deals with investment into American manufacturing. No, it's just that he's taken so many L's that he's making sure to boast the W's. But in all reality, it's gone stagnant and down. So it's not a win of substance.
So that's one, that graph shows how much is investing at a time. So, you're looking at that graph. That graph is significantly higher than it was in 2016. We did see that major rise while Biden was under, but that also is post-COVID. So after COVID, lots of countries were looking to invest to help growth. So we're looking here at the end of it, 2022 is where we see that huge jump, but we still see it high. It hasn't dropped. It hasn't fallen through the floor. It hasn't fallen lower. Look at it. That tiny dip compared to look at comparison. That's miles above where it was way before. You're looking at a absolutely astronomically small drop in comparison to where it is right now.
Was it dropping at all when Biden was the president?
Do you not see they're not necessarily dropping, but it dropped ever so slightly.
Guess what it was? It was fucking growing, right?
Then
Donald Trump gets into office. It goes stagnant for one quarter, then it drops for a second quarter. Obviously, you're not going to say a reason why you support him is investment into American manufacturing. Like, to argue that you think that he's good for investment into American manufacturing, even now, though, under his administration, it's gone stagnant and down for the first time in years, well, then you just want to tell us that a reason you support him is because of investment into American manufacturing.
Okay. They are still investing tons of money.
But it doesn't matter because when we consider all investment into American manufacturing, it's down.
Like 1%.
Okay, but it's still down. But down is bad. So you're basically telling us that you support Donald Trump because of a bad thing he's doing.
Not necessarily, no, because all the money that they're going to invest and they have promised to invest, not necessarily been invested yet. So that graph won't show the money that they have said they're going to invest. If they do not, if they end up not investing it, then okay, well, that's one thing, but they've said they're going to invest it. And so,
so I just want to clarify, he hasn't actually achieved any investment/trade deals yet.
I mean, a trade deal that hasn't taken an effect is still a trade deal.
Okay, so when is it going to take an effect?
Q3, Q4, I believe, is what the agreements were.
Really, according to whom?
according to the EAU,
The EAU? What?
My apologies. The Saudi Arabia and all the other countries and
Really, where
the
can I see
UE.
that?
Where can you see that? When did you? I mean, you have that graph pulled up, all the other information. I don't think it's on there. Wherever you got that, I'm not sure. Where
So
you
then
got
where's
that
it
from.
on?
I can't find it right now. I'm on my phone. If I
Okay, so is it
pull
just
it
kind
up,
of like a trust me, bro?
I mean, you can go look it up.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to look up?
I mean, look up, trade deal, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you have
Trade
multiple
deal,
ones.
all that kind of stuff. Okay, when I look up trade deal, all that kind of stuff, the first thing that comes up is funny enough, an article posted on Investopedia 1 hour ago called "Here's Every Tariff in Effect After Trump's Deadline." Okay, so that's definitely not going to be like the right source. So what's the right source?
I don't have the right source because I'm on my phone. I can't pull it up.
Okay,
So I don't
well, if
have
you
all
can't
the
give evidence
sources.
for your claim, then obviously it's not going to be a reputable claim. And because it's not a reputable claim, it's not a good reason to support Trump, especially in the context of a political debate.
I mean, I still support him for that reason, and they haven't invested it yet. I mean, you could probably find it on CNN, Fox. I don't listen to Fox, but you can.
Okay,
probably
well,
on
if you
there.
can't prove that this is true, then like
Okay, look it up on
obviously.
CNN. Then. I mean, I'm not gonna go, and I can't find it right now because I'm on my phone, and if I pull it up on my
Okay,
phone,
well,
it's gonna
well then you just have a
be
basis
live.
claim. What am I supposed to do with a basis claim? A basis claim is not like motivating enough to convince me that you're right.
Okay, you don't have to believe that I'm right. You're asking why I believe it, and that's why I believe it. You don't have. I'm not here to necessarily change your mind. You're asking me why I believe what I believe, and that's why I believe it.
Right, but you don't have any good reason to believe it.
I do have a good reason to believe
Okay, what
it.
is
I
a
just
good
can't
reason?
show you where it is.
Okay, so it's a trust me, bro.
I mean, if you want to call it that, sure.
Okay.
I don't think that this is necessarily productive to our conversation.
So do you have any arguments for why Trump is a good president that don't hinge on a trust me, bro?
We can go to border policy.
Okay, your border policy. Okay, so what is Donald Trump's border policy that you're a fan of?
So I live in Texas, and I am anti-illegal immigration, and I'm for deporting illegal immigrants.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the deportation after the conversation about strictly the border policy. What strict border
I'm
policy?
talking, when I
has
said
Trump
border
implemented
policy, I'm
to
talking about
reduce
like all of it.
undocumented entry? What strictly? What policy has Trump implemented to reduce undocumented entry?
I don't have all the policies pulled up, but if we look at number of illegal crossings over the last few months, it has dropped significantly from under the Biden administration. We didn't have accurate numbers because of how many people were coming across. Well, if we look at the last few months, it's down to like 5% of what it was estimated under Biden, and so I'm for that. I'm also for deporting.
I'm asking you to give me an argument that Trump's policy has achieved this. Because from my perspective, it's not policy that has caused this. It's literally fascism. And what I mean by this is I don't think that there's like any massive border shutdown that has prevented more undocumented entry. It's just simply like told undocumented immigrants that if they do enter into this country illegally, they're going to have a worse life than they'd have if they didn't, because the undocumented immigrants that are already in the country are having their human rights violated. Like Abrigo Garcia when he was illegally deported to Sicat in El Salvador, and it was beaten and tortured for 3 weeks. Or Mahmoud Khalil, who was a legal immigrant, a green card holder that was illegally detained in an ICE detention center for 3 months. Or another legal green card holder that was accidentally deported to Sicat where he was essayed and abused. Right? Or like, all the immigrants round up in droves in Alligator Alcatraz where they're being fed 1 meal a day, some of those meals having maggots in them. Or like the Venezuelan immigrants illegally deported to Venezuela without due process. And even now we have a federal judge saying that he has sufficient reason to hold the Trump administration in contempt of court for violating his withholding order because they were forgoing their due process. Like this is just fascism. It's human rights abuse. It's abuse of our Constitution, and casting, no thought to what is lawful. And it's funny and contradictory that, they're ignoring the law and doing illegal things because apparently the illegal misdemeanors of the immigrants, but that's neither here nor there. The overall argument is that it is these facts that has reduced undocumented entry by convincing them they'd have a worse life if they immigrated in here. And that's just incredibly immoral. And it's also short term because then the moment we have a president that's not a fascist, obviously they're going to stop abusing human rights. So then that incentive structure will reverse. And the reason why I want you to combat this is because it is now your burden to prove me wrong, to suggest that he's given some awesome, proactive, good solution that has reduced undocumented entry by describing the considerate policy.
All right, yeah, we can definitely talk about that after we talk about my point that I brought up initially. We can go to that, I'm fine too, but I'm not going to let you sidetrack me from my initial point. And that is that I'm for illegals being deported. Do you believe, my question very simply is, do you believe someone can come here illegally and they should be allowed to stay here?
Yeah, right now, yes.
Okay, and why is that?
Because I think that mass deportation is like an American last policy that hurts everybody.
how does it hurt everybody?
I typically categorize it into three different compartments. The first compartment would be our economy. The second compartment would be human rights and ethics. The third compartment would be pragmatics. So the way that it hurts that first category of our economy is because undocumented immigrants pay close to $100 billion per year in taxes and contribute anywhere from $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion to the GDP per year based upon estimates provided to us by the American Center for Progress. If we remove them all tomorrow, we're forcefully laying off 8.3 million of our laborers. We lose that GDP growth. It goes down by 1.1 trill through 1.7 trill. We lose that taxable revenue. So we are losing $1 trillion over 10 years. And we're also spending over $1 trillion on ICE to get it done in the first place, which is an issue on its own, right? So we're just spending $2 trillion to destroy our economy. And this also like destabilizes our manufacturers because they're losing like a shit ton of their laborers and the people that buy their products. So all of a sudden they start producing less at lower levels of efficiency. You know, like our economy is destabilized, meaning that poverty is going to go up because the economy is weakened. When poverty goes up, the nominal level and amount of crimes go up because a lot of crime is a direct material consequence of poverty. And that's another way that it hurts this country is by causing more crime. And then in that second category of like human rights abuse and ethics, I mean, I think that one's a given. It's obviously unethical to like strip hardworking mothers and fathers away from their families, deporting 3-year-olds with brain cancer, or sending Rodrigo Garcia to be beat and tortured and starved for 3 weeks in El Salvador. We don't need to go over that. And then the third point about pragmatics, it's just like we're dealing with millions of people here that don't want to be deported. So it's going to be very difficult to deport them. It's going to take forever. It's going to be very expensive, especially when we have like alternative policies that we could implement in here just to identify them at the bare minimum, like mass amnesty, that they'd cooperate with, that they'd want, that we could get done for a low cost in a shorter amount of time. So that's essentially every single reason why I disagree with mass deportation.
All right. So from my side of this, one reason that I agree with it is I'm in the construction field in Texas. And it's very much so harder to find a job whenever there are millions of workers here that are willing to do it for dirt cheap because all they do is they send money back to their family, and so they can send $2 American dollars back, and I mean they can live better there. And I know this because I work in the field, and I know people who come in and try to undercut people who are trying to just survive. And so by making them come here legally and having them here legally, they actually increase the quality of work. So I'm for legal immigration. I work with many people who are here legally and illegally, and no, I do not report them because I don't think it's necessarily my part to report them. But I do not believe that illegal immigration is necessarily good, and I also
I have a
want to. I see
question.
that. I see it. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll wrap it up. And so like working there, it is very much so harder to find a job when there are lots of workers coming over illegally to do it. That is one of the reasons. The second reason is we don't know who's here. I want to know who's here. I'm for legal immigration. My grandfather came here.
Can I just talk about the first reason real
legally.
quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you said that like the working conditions would be better if they were legal immigrants.
No, not working it. Like how easy it is to find a job, how much you get paid.
Right. Like, do you think that you'd get paid more and like the industry would be better if every undocumented immigrant working in the construction field was not undocumented, but rather a legal immigrant?
A legal immigrant, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Or an
A
yeah, okay.
space legal.
Okay, yes. Yeah, because in the areas that I've worked that have that, you get paid more.
What do you think would be better? Having more legal immigrants working, right? Or having less immigrants working? Like, what do you think would be like a more preferable construction like a preferable construction industry to you? Deporting every single undocumented immigrant, so we're losing a bunch of laborers and a bunch of people that buy that labor, or just like snapping our fingers and making all of those undocumented immigrants legal immigrants?
I mean, if you were to say all of those people who are working that are illegal are now just like legal workers, and they were to have all that baseline, I'm not saying it would necessarily change anything because I mean you have the same number of people, you have all the same requirements, so that doesn't really change anything.
Wait, but you already affirmed that if they were legal immigrants, you'd get paid more, so it does change something.
No, but I'm saying
So what is more
you
preferable,
can't
losing all of those
have-
workers
you
and having
can't
the mass
have as
layoffs,
many
or just
legal-
snapping your fingers
you
and then all of a
can't have
sudden
as
they're just
many
all legal immigrants?
immigrants as they are active illegal immigrants. So it's just a numbers thing.
Wait,
that
why can't you?
You could let that many people in, but it's just when you come here legally, you have a lot more options to space out. You don't normally just stay.
No,
in the
I'm
area.
just saying, like, assuming that they were all legal immigrants that came into America legally.
I would
do you
say
think
it
that would
wouldn't
create a
change
better
much.
industry?
it wouldn't really change much just because of the numbers. But I'm speaking on how many people come here
So do you
legally.
think that mass
numbers-wise.
deportation? Do you think that like losing 8.3 million of our laborers is better than gaining 8.3 million legal laborers?
If you were to switch them out, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but I would want the process, and I also want to
Oh,
state
it's
that
perfect, perfect, perfect. There we go. There we
our
go. You just told
immigration
us if you switched.
policy-
I just got the conclusion that I needed. You just told us that if you switched out the quote unquote illegal immigrants with quote unquote legal immigrants, you wouldn't have a problem with that, sir. Congratulations. This what I call mass amnesty, quite fucking frankly. It is offering undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency or citizenship so they can become legal residents or legal citizens. And they can continue to work, continue to make a wage, continue to contribute to the GDP, continue to contribute in our labor force, continue to buy goods from American companies, and continue to pay taxes to our government. And
Okay,
you,
that sounds
sir,
great.
just said that you wouldn't have a problem with that. So
I
let
don't.
me ask
And
you.
there is a thing that Trump is
Okay.
doing that he said. No, he had this way that they can
One second.
self-deport.
One
I heard
second.
that Trump-
No, because I'm still talking. So I have a question. Now that
I
we've
can talk.
identified that you have absolutely no problem with mass amnesty and mass amnesty, wait, you
I
just
do.
told us that you didn't.
No, but your way of doing it is different than how I would want it to be done.
Okay.
And so
what's the
I'll-
difference?
So yours is just they get to stay here, keep working, and then they
Right.
just basically become legal
Right.
citizens.
What do you
And
want?
they had that kind of thing under Biden.
No,
where
they
had
didn't. They didn't have amnesty. They had DACA, but not mass amnesty.
basically the same thing.
It's not
for what we're
basically the
talking
same
about.
thing because
What
DACA
I'm
doesn't
saying is-
naturalize them.
Yes, but what I'm saying, it gives them a path to start that process, and I'm not against people coming here.
No, it doesn't. It just gives them
legally.
a work permit.
And that's mainly what most of them would do anyway. What I'm saying is Trump already has this thing where they could self-deport, and it's already in the works that what they're doing is you have a process to leave, and then you are in line to come back legally. I am good with legal immigration. My grandfather came here legally when he was 12 years old from Cuba running from Castro. They stole the farm and set it on fire, and we're trying to kill them. So I know what it's like. I don't personally know, but he's told me the stories of what it's like to be in horrible situations, but they still did it legally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the big zinger. Like, hopefully, this next point that I'm about to make here should just be a conversation ender. Okay? Because you're telling us that you think a view where we deport all of the undocumented immigrants contributing over $1 trillion to our GDP per year, then have them wait in line for 10, 20, 25 years to come back in legally is preferable to the view where we just let them continue to work in the economy, continue to contribute and provide, and have that citizenship on the spot. The big difference between these two views empirically is going to be putting a stall on their contributions to the economy. So under my view of mass amnesty, they continue to contribute. Under your view of send them out and have them come back in, they stop contributing for like 20 fucking years. So I have a question. What is more preferable? Having an additional $1 to $2 trillion added to our GDP every year for the next 20, 30, 40 years, or losing an additional $1 to $2 trillion from our GDP every year for the next 20 through 40 years?
Yeah, okay, you're asking me which one I would prefer. So I would prefer, obviously, just like it stay, but the offhand of that is like, would you be okay with one thing good happening if you're okay with bad thing happening, right? So you have to weigh both. It's like, obviously, I'd like the good thing, but bad comes with it.
Okay, what's the bad that comes with mass amnesty?
I don't like that people came here illegally, broke the law, and then just get excused.
I know,
for
but
it.
like, what is the bad outcome of this on America? Because you're not like indicating any like way that this negatively impacts the country or the other people in the country. Because we're talking about very specific material outcomes here. Okay, I'm identifying that they contribute and pay taxes. I'm identifying that they add to the GDP. I'm identifying that they're more likely to actively participate in the labor force and produce American goods, and also to buy them on the consumer side of things. I'm identifying that they disproportionately pay taxes and get less in benefits from our government because they don't even qualify for federal benefits. I'm identifying all of these positive material outcomes. And you're telling me that mass amnesty comes with a negative outcome? What is it? What is the negative material outcome of mass amnesty that materially serves as a detriment to this country?
when you do that, you allow for people who are here illegally and want to do harm. So people who have come in here illegally, not all the people who come here legally or illegally are here to do good for America. Not all of them want to benefit America. There are a lot of people who came across as part of gangs and all the other things, and it allows them to stay hidden.
Oh,
I
okay.
do not like
So,
that.
so you're saying that the difference between like this and sending them out and then coming back in again is if they were to come through the legal means, they'd have to undergo screening for like prior violent offenses, like gang affiliation, outstanding warrants from
That's
other
part of it.
countries. Okay, yeah. Well, that's why I support similar screening on mass amnesty. You understand when we're doing a system of mass amnesty, we could just deny it to undocumented immigrants with prior violent offenses. We could just
And you're
deny
cool
it
with
to immigrants with like pretty like insidious outstanding warrants from other countries. We could just deny it to undocumented immigrants with pretty insane non-violent prior criminal offenses. You understand? We could just do that,
And you could do that. Is
and that's
that
what we
you're
should do.
arguing for?
Yes, that's what we should do. Yes.
So what you're arguing for is any kind of prior criminal history, they get sent back.
If they jaywalked, I don't give a shit. It has to be like particular.
Okay, yeah, but you don't get criminal history for jaywalking. I mean, come on, now. Like let's have a serious conversation.
I mean, it's a criminal misdemeanor, so you can.
Okay, well, I don't know. Bringing up jaywalking is insane, but to move on from that, if you have a criminal history, you're cool with them getting sent back.
Like not all criminal histories. Like I said, some crimes.
Okay,
yeah.
what would the line be for you? Personally?
Like crimes with victims.
So victimless crimes, they it doesn't matter.
Yeah, not really.
Okay. I disagree because I still think victimless crimes are bad. I mean, obviously jaywalking.
So
jaywalking,
if you've been convicted of 34 felonies for victimless crimes, you shouldn't be allowed to immigrate into America?
I think if you've been convicted of a felony, you shouldn't be allowed to immigrate to America. No.
Okay, so then why should you be able to become president if you have 34 of them?
There's no law against it.
Oh, okay. All right. So I just want to clarify that you're hinging your view on what should happen based upon law?
Yeah, pretty much how I operate is if it's not illegal, then for the most part I don't have an issue with it.
Oh, really?
There are some things.
Really? Did you know that in a lot of American states,
there-
like child marriage with individuals that are like 16 years old is illegal?
It's 16 years old without parental consent.
I'm not sure about parental consent, but I don't know if it matters because I don't
There's
think
no
the parents
legal,
can
there's
consent to that.
there's no state in America that it's legal below the age of 17 without parental consent.
Okay, even with parental consent, do you still support that?
I don't necessarily support that. But
Oh, wait, why? You said that you don't have a problem with things that aren't illegal.
No, I said if there's no law against it, I don't automatically have something against it. So that.
Wait, so,
like,
you're telling me that you do automatically have something against anything that is illegal?
for the most part, I mean, there are some exceptions. There are
Well,
some
if
stupid
there's an
laws.
exception, then it's not a rule.
No, but I mean,
So then
for
it's
the
so
most
then it's
part,
not a principle. So I just want to
for the-
clarify.
for the-
You
for
like
the
I'm
most
asking you
part.
about what you think should happen, right? Regardless
So
of what the
for
law
what-
is.
like,
No,
okay,
no, no,
we're
no, no, no,
talking
no,
super
Malachi.
broadly.
I'm going to be very clear. You told us that you think if you have like felonies on your record, you shouldn't be able to legally immigrate into America, right?
Agree.
Okay, so then why do you think you should be able to become president if you have 34 felonies, but you shouldn't be able to become a citizen if you have 34 felonies? Keep in mind, we're asking Malachi about what Malachi thinks should happen.
Okay. So if you have felonies, I do not want someone who has felonies to be coming into the country to act in citizens as they might, do the same thing. As far as someone who is in the country and if they have served their time and they've gotten out or got no time or paid the fine or whatever it is, I believe you are allowed to come back into the fold and act accordingly.
I know you're not
If you-
answering my question. You're just repeating it using. You're not answering the question. You're
What part
repeating
did
the
I not
question
answer?
using different words.
So if
Yeah, because
if
the
you-
part that you
if
didn't
give me
answer
the
to is the
part-
fact that I'm calling out your hypocrisy. You said you shouldn't be able to become a citizen if you're a felon, but you should be able to become president if you're a felon. Explain this. This is obviously hypocritical. All right.
It's not
Obviously,
hypocritical.
yes, it is.
Once you-
It is
once you've
hypocritical.
done-
I'll
once
explain.
you've-
I'll
once
explain.
you've-
I'll explain to you why it's hypocritical. I'll explain to you why it's hypocritical. Here we go.
Once you've
Here we
served
go.
your
Here we go.
time and done
Sir-
the punishment that you've gotten, why shouldn't you be allowed to go
so
back to how
so
it was before?
if you've done and you serve your time for felonies, should you be able to legally immigrate into America?
That's a conversation I'm willing to have.
Oh, so what is the answer? Yes or no? End the conversation. Skip the dialogue. Yes or no?
Well, I mean, you haven't convinced me I necessarily should. I don't necessarily have an opinion on something the first time it's brought to me.
Oh, okay. So you don't have an opinion about this as it relates to becoming a citizen, but you do have an opinion about this as it relates to becoming the president. So I just want to clarify. You think it should
Yeah,
be
because
easier?
that's been brought up
I just want to
before.
clarify.
That's been brought
You
up
think it
before.
should be easier to run the country than to be a citizen of the country? There should be
I
higher
don't think- I
standards,
don't- I
rules,
don't
and
think it should be- I
regulations
don't think it's
for
e-
living on American streets compared
I
to
don't think it's
running
easier,
and operating
though.
all American streets.
I don't think it's easier to do that though.
Do you think that it should be harder to become president of America or to become a citizen of America? Which position should require more qualifications? Citizenship or the presidency?
Presidency,
Okay,
100%.
so
And
it
here's
should be
the reason
one
I-
second.
and here's the
One
reason
second.
why
One second.
I
One
know
second.
that-
If it should be harder to become the president, if becoming the president should have more qualifications than becoming a citizen, if a red line against citizenship is being a felon, then by immediate byproduct of that, you would also thereby say, at the minimum, a red line for becoming president should also be being a felon, plus like a bunch of other red lines, since you think it should be harder to be the president.
But not all things are like intrinsically paired. So you could have one thing that disqualifies you from something that's less necessary. So like, do you see what do I have to explain it more than that?
Yeah,
Because
sure. I'm gonna ask
just-
you. So I'm just like I'm trying to find the right questions to ask you so I could get you to sufficiently explain your view because I don't think you're like I think I need to hold your hand through it if that makes sense. Why
go ahead.
should felonies be acceptable for the president but unacceptable for becoming a citizen? Why should
So-
felonies be acceptable for becoming the president but not acceptable for becoming a citizen? That's the
you
right
have
question.
to convince half the country to become president. You have to convince half the country why you should be president to become president. So
But the
that's
popularity of a
one-
belief doesn't indicate
that's
that said
why
belief is true.
that's why it should be harder to be president because
That's,
I think
that's not the
individuals-
question that I asked you.
but-
Now you're not answering the question that I asked you. The question
No,
that I
but
asked you is
that's the
very clear.
reasoning.
Why
That's
should
the
felons be able to become the president but not be able to become a citizen?
because you get voted for.
Okay, but what does that have to do with my question?
That's the answer.
Okay, how is that the answer? How is that relevant? How is it vote
Okay,
relevant?
give me 30 seconds and I'll walk you
Because
through
remember, we're
my
asking you
reasoning
about what
behind it.
you think, okay? Like hopefully, like what other people think, what's popular, who other people support isn't relevant to why you support X, right? Like for instance, if I was alive during the time of American
was an
slavery,
answer.
when it was super popular to think that slavery was okay, right? And I had access to all the knowledge I have access to today, and I think that slavery is wrong. Everybody else thinking that slavery is okay isn't going to change that belief of mine because I know just because a lot of people think something, it doesn't mean that it's true. The evidence that just because a lot of people think something doesn't mean that it's true can be seen abundantly, not in the example that I just gave you about the support for American chattel slavery, but also the fact that for majority of human history, 90% of people alive thought the earth was flat, right? So that's why it's now considered an official logical fallacy to assume if something's supported by the majority of the populace, then therefore it's true. So now that we understand this fact, okay, the quote unquote vote shouldn't indicate anything to you about why you think a felon is acceptable inside of the presidency. Plus, it's like if 51% of Americans were to agree that felons and child rapists should be legally allowed to immigrate into this country, does that mean that you would also therefore think that felon child rapists should be able to legally immigrate and become a citizen of America?
Okay, so here's my answer to all of that overarching statement / question. The reason why I think that there should not be a law prohibiting a felon from becoming president is that the president has to get voted in. The people of the country say, this is who we want to have run the country. So if that person is a felon, okay, the people have spoken. It doesn't matter what their prior is. Someone coming into America has not been voted on. They've been screened. And so the screening, all that we can learn is you've done stuff in your past. We're not going to allow you to be here.
Okay, so
When
if Donald Trump was a known child rapist, and still yet 51% of people voted for him, would you say that you'd be okay with that, and there shouldn't be a law to prohibit child rapists from running the country?
I think he should get tried for sure. And
No,
if
I'm saying if he was tried and found guilty of child rape, okay, right?
And then he went to
Everybody,
prison?
everybody knew this. Maybe, and then he ran for president. Somehow he had the ability to, and he was voted in, and he is the president.